Do you know why we celebrate Halloween? A long, long time ago.
Candy.
It was a night of great power.
Yeah, but we
when
get
the
candy.
days grew short, all across the land,
We can get more candy.
huge bonfires were lit. Oh, there was a marvelous celebration.
That's
They
right, that's why
dressed
we get
up in
candy.
costumes,
Yeah, to get
hoping
candy.
to ward off the evil spirits.
And get candy, right?
Especially the boogeyman.
And to get candy. Candy. Water. Candy corn. Good.
And you get candy, and you get candy. We all get candy. Yay. Hello, fellow fellowers and boils and ghouls. Welcome. Good evening. And welcome to the Physical Media Show. For real.
Halloween special.
Yes, it's the Halloween Fright Night, I was calling it. I just was trying to come up with something clever. It sounded good. Halloween Fright Night. Yes, because yeah. Next Wednesday just happens to be November 1st, so we miss it by one day. But next year, the show will actually be on Halloween. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Will
so
it be?
It should be, right? Isn't that how it works?
Wait, no, it's the other way. It goes to the other way.
The other way around. Because
well, and plus we got a leap year next year, I think.
Oh crap!
So actually, I think Halloween will jump all the way to, I think, Thursday. I think.
Oh, it'll be on Thursday. Yep, he's right.
Well, at least we could do it the day before then. Yeah. Thanks, leap year.
Yeah, you don't you love it? Yeah, I do that with time zones. What you just did with years.
Yeah.
Is that the other way?
Yeah, I do that all the time
6
with
hours
time
ago.
zones. Like, where are you, Tom? Why? Are you supposed to be on the show? I thought that was in an hour from now. No, it just started an hour ago. Shit.
I know. Once you start knowing a lot of people, and you're like,
next year it's on a Thursday. You're right. Yep,
Yeah,
I just looked.
Dang you, leap year! I was excited
Leap
because
year.
I usually do okay. So last year was a Tuesday, or last year was a Monday. This year's a Tuesday, so that means next year it's a. And then nope, leap year.
Well, I mean, the show would be the day right before it.
Yeah, the day before. So yeah,
one full week before it. So
the perfect name. We can call it the Physical Me Show Devil's Night. So
it would give
Devil's
people
Night
a chance.
edition.
It would still give people that one day chance to get a movie or something that we recommend. Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows?
Well, next week's show's spoiler alert. Next week's show is going to be called Halloween Hangover because there probably will be Halloween movies, scary movies
leftover,
leftovers. So
well, I might not have as many picks because I'll probably end up watching the typical Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, and whatever else. But stuff we've already talked about before.
Yeah, but well, thank you guys for being here, Rook and Tom, and I'm going to say hello to everybody in chat real quick, and we'll get started because there's really not much in the way of announcements this week, guys. So we'll probably jump to the picks earlier tonight. But for all those who've been waiting, what's up, Scott Hughes? He says, hello, guys. I might not catch you live tonight. If not, because, the replay will be up for you, but I hope you can catch us. Random Brad, sending good vibes as always. Replay. Yes, I love it. What's up, Real Sean Crummel? Glad to have you here. Salute to you, Steven. Deleted Scenes. Style Selection. Okay, people, let's party. Inverse Opinion. What's up? Let's see who else we have here. Hey, look, it's Phantom Collective. That's Rookie.
That's me.
Hell, Anthony Draven, glad to have you here. What's up, Brian Barth? Glad to have you here as well, too. And good evening to you, Tarrell72. And cheers, Dalton B. Glad to have you here. Well, it jumped on me. There we go. What's up, cool gamer? Glad to have you here as well, too. What's up, Dimension Scott? How's it going to you? Let's see if I think that's everybody that's in the chat right now. But thank you guys for hanging with us. Oh, Dan Blackroyd. What's up, Dan Blackroyd? Glad to have you guys here with us tonight. And everybody out there watching, remember to share out the stream, give it a like, and get ready for some physical media talk. Now, as far as upcoming releases, there really was no announcements other than A Haunting in Venice is getting a 4K release. Did you see the date on that? I didn't see the date.
I don't even know if it's getting a 4K.
Or just
It
Blu-ray,
should, because the last two did. But I just saw Blu-ray at this time, and I believe it's November 24th, I think it was the date on it. But we'll have to see. Disney, to this point, and 20th Century Fox had released them, and I think Disney had acquired them by the time the second film had come out. But I'm assuming this one was shot like the first two, because there's some of the few films that Branagh only shoots on film.
Right.
So, yeah, like, because that was one of the few things I could say that was great about the second one, the Death on the Nile, was that it looked amazing.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good as the first film, but it looked amazing.
So like, I think literally that is it. But Friday we should get a bunch of announcements from Arrow.
That's what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, they dropped a picture of a sword. So
I was hoping to. Oh well, what kind of sword? Where?
Well, let me bring it up real quick because
I can tell you if I have an idea what it might be.
Because some people were saying if it's Excalibur, but I was thinking,
it might be. Yeah,
Conan.
that's not Conan's sword. I don't think.
Yeah, I was going to bring it up real quick. Let me find it.
Yeah, that looks like Excalibur.
Yeah. So.
Damn it! You were thinking the same thing I was thinking too.
I was too. I was.
No, that's not Conan's sword, unfortunately. Yeah, Conan's sword has like a lion thing on it, if I remember right. Yeah, I would know it right away because I have the hilt here, or whatever you call it. Not the hilt, but the centerpiece. I have that here for Andre that Gary Ambrosia sent me.
Yeah,
and it doesn't look like that.
So that's what they were sharing. So everybody started saying Excalibur, which would be cool, great, but Conan, bro, we've been hearing for years now. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Look, and like I said, I understand how, like, look how long it took us for some dumb reason to get what the hell was I'm thinking of? Hellraiser, which I hadn't gotten this week. I was going to say that. Yeah, it's supposed to be here. Haven't gotten it yet this week. But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's from. I just looked it up, and I don't know what the hell that's from.
I know Tyrell and Duck Nation are on the same page as everybody else. Have been seeing Excalibur. So.
I put it on Google. Hold on here. I put it on Google Images, and it comes up for a bunch of different things. Like it's just a generic image. Because it comes up for a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they're pulling a fast one on us, and maybe it will be. I don't know, but I'm thinking Excalibur probably too with everybody else. But we'll see.
Yeah. Let me look. Yeah, that doesn't look like the Excalibur sword in the movie. And I Google image searched it. I can't find anything that relates to it. It's like it's a generic image. Hold up. Somebody says it's related to Conan the Barbarian.
That's what, like, my first thought was, oh, Conan, they're finally going to announce it. And then, like, everybody's been saying Excalibur. And so it really got me thinking, like, okay, maybe it's Excalibur.
This sword isn't Excalibur. Oh, no, wait. It isn't Conan or Excalibur's. It says free download image. So they are pulling a fast one on us, kids.
Oh.
So somebody was thinking the same exact fucking thing I was, and they already beat me to the punch here. And this was just earlier today, it looks like. Yeah, on one of the Blu-ray forums on Blu-ray.com. Yep. So let's stay tuned, kids. Wonder.
Interesting. But like I said, Friday we'll have to find out. Friday. That's when we'll be getting announcements. Yeah, because it looks like Haunting in Venice was it this week. That is, I mean, I don't think there was anything else at all that I can think of that came out that was.
So I'm trying to find which sword he has when he's King Conan at the end of that one. So I know they shot that later. See, because there is a Conan sword that has like a crown on the end here.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't have that same kind of What do you call that? Between the blade and the handle.
The hilt.
Forget the hilt. So I was right the first goddamn time. Why'd you guys let me fucking correct myself?
I didn't know.
We're just gonna see what you're gonna say. You know,
You're a fucking jerk, rookie.
you might have said anything. That would have been great. The shaft or something. You know.
You're a fucking jerk. Rookie.
See, at least you could have lied to me and we wasted too much time on this. But yeah, that's got me intrigued as hell now. I love sword and sorcery movies.
Yeah, me too. So I'm interested to see what it is.
Yeah, interesting. All right, moving on.
Yes. For the most part, that's it, guys. I just checked over some of the announcements. We covered The Color Purple. We covered Saw X. I think that was it. And there was a Gene Hackman movie, I think, coming from Keanu Lorber, but I can't remember the name of it just now. But it was nothing fancy. But there you guys have it. We'll hopefully have more for you next week. But we do have a lot of picks for you tonight, physical media wise. We watched a lot, Tom especially. So let's go ahead and jump right into the picks of the night. Rook, what's your first pick of the night? Because you brought some movies tonight. You watched a lot or got a lot.
Oh, so yeah. If you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you come to the right place because it's all we do, and we upload once a week. So if that's of interest to you, on Halloween night, go to the like button's house. And when they ask what movie to watch, make sure to show them Don't Breathe. Just kidding. Just kidding, guys. Oh my gosh. I wouldn't pull that on you here.
I like the little thumbs up though.
Yeah, but I was doing a Mr. Ballin here. That's the Mr. Ballin look right here. But now Blood Angels is my pick here. Have you guys seen this
but
movie?
I'm digging that cover.
I've not, but for some reason I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. Was this on like Red Letter Media or something like that?
I've reviewed this before.
Okay.
It's like something I've seen on Skinemax.
I think I'm the only person on the planet to see this film. One of these. It was on Netflix streaming.
Did you find this at a little weird corner shop that had a lot of weird sex toys in it?
In the first couple of years of Netflix's streaming, they had a lot of bizarre horror films on their listing. This was one of them, and that's how I found it. And then it's a weird one. It also has an alternate title of Thralls. Like if you look it up, and it's if you type in Blood Angels, other things come up. So you have to be very specific on the year it was released, like 2005. It's a movie. Otherwise, people think of other shit for it. But yeah, it's a very bizarre film. It is not good at all, but it is fun to watch.
Does it have boobs though?
Yes. It's
okay, you sold me. That's it.
Yeah, dude. There's like a vampire dude who
Lorenzo Lamas
does the book. He reads from the Book of the Dead, and it's like, oh, it's a huge thing, and he's got these half vampire slave chicks, and their sister is like super religious up here. So not religious, but she's like an innocent girl basically, and then she gets turned hot by the end of it and stuff. There's some really funny lines in it. You're toast, bitch, and just it's so fucking stupid. It's a fun watch. You can only find it, as far as I can tell, on Amazon to get it on DVD. Otherwise,
who directed it? What's the production come down on the bottom on the back there?
It was by Screen Media Films, English thing. Too young. Fucking. Let's see. Your productions, release production. Blood Angels, Ron Oliver.
You're fired. You should know all this shit before you come on the show. Keep going.
Yeah, well, he asked
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He asked for a specific that I wasn't ready for. The director, I never looked at who directed this.
You should know the year, the make, the model, everything about it. Jesus.
2005. I know a lot about it. They also have, it comes with a weird music video that plays at the end that is just like, why the fuck is that here? And it's just a funny one. They have funny dialogue, like somebody's name is Marlene or something, and they're like, yeah, that's why something no Mar. And
on
it's
a
like,
boob
God,
level, how many
cringe.
boobs is there in this? Like if it was on the drive-in,
you got to
there's
do like jump up race.
There's like 7 chicks in it. There are boobs.
You got to count the boob count.
There's a little Asian
20
dude,
breasts, 30 breasts.
There's a little Asian dude who's super horny. He's like, yo, he's trying to talk all rap and horrible. He's like, yo, man, we trying to get some bitches. Yeah, woo. And then some chicks like, all right, cool, all right. And then lowers her titties down. She's one of the thrall chicks. And then like these weird snake tentacle things come out of there, and it was like, what the fuck It kills him. It like bites his neck, and it's like, what the hell? That's
I kind of want to see this movie now.
The bartender
so
chick
bad.
has like a pistol, and there's just a random things.
Would that be Tentacle Foo?
I guess so. And it was just like, they have none of this beforehand. There's a weird assistant guy who's like a zombie vampire sort of, and he's like, I'm funny, I'm gonna get you guys. It's like really stupid. There's a white male character in it too, who's just like, I just call him a white male protagonist, but he's not the protagonist, but you know what I mean. He's like, well, kid, this is all too weird, guys. But then he's like kind of falling in love with the chick. It is
a white male guy.
A white male guy.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like the Mortal Kombat protagonist kind of guy, sort of. That's just like there to kind of not be as in the world. Like, whoa, what is all this? Sort of. It's in there. It is funny. There's an attempted scene like where the innocent girl is that little sister, we'll call her, is at the parking lot or something. A whole bunch of guys are like, oh, time to get you, girl. But then her sister comes in. How about you take me on instead? Oh, okay. And then she beats the crap out of all of them. And it's like, okay, one of those little scenes. All right. I wish I got a clip for you guys. There's a part they do a flash.
You know what?
One last cell, and then I'm done with it. They do a flashback scene to her father, to the little girl's father, and it just shows a house from like a backyard perspective. There's nobody in it. This is a like 3-second flashback. And he's like, what are you crying for? Come here, I'll get you something to cry about. Oh, my chest. And then it comes back to the present. And it was like, what? What was that? What was the point?
I gotta see this movie. This sounds like a cheesy bad movie. But I gotta say, since you did not know the boob count.
I said
that's all right. I'm gonna vent later. I don't even want to get started right now.
I said there's 7 women in it, so like 14 boobs.
That's pretty good.
He doesn't get the idea what we're talking about here.
I know. He didn't grow up watching Monster Vision.
Some kind of horror reference.
There's 3.5 boobs in this movie.
What was it that I saw that he?
In fact, there's boob foo. So with that, I'm gonna give it an extra point.
These boob references are going over my head. Yeah.
Oh, you got to see The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs. Like Bob Briggs is amazing. Like he had a show on, was it USA? Did he start on originally or Showtime? I think
it was on Showtime. Not AMC. It was Turner, not Turner.
TBS, but he started on like Showtime, I think it was, and then he moved from Showtime to TBS, and
he was on the TBS movie channel. And then
movie channel, same thing. Showtime movie channel.
Yeah.
So he was over there for a couple of years, and then he moved to TBS, and he was there for what?
TNT, Monster Vision from 1996, I believe, to 2000, and I want to say 2000.
I knew it was over 10. I thought it was over 10 years, but was it not that quite long? Okay,
let me see.
That was a long time, but I guess
because I remember watching it all the damn time.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say I thought it was sooner than that, but I could be wrong. But yeah, so like he was on there for a while, and then just a couple of years back here, Shudder picked him back up, and you can actually go on and watch Shudder movies with him, like old horror movies and stuff. And cut in between, and he'll have like little trivia bits. He'll have little skits, and then at some point in the movie, usually the end, I think it is, where he'll come on with all the scores for the film. Like he'll tell you how many boobs are in it, how many deaths are in it, any cool deaths and stuff like that. And he has like he'll add foo to whatever, like, there was lawnmower foo. Like if somebody uses a lawnmower as a weapon, like
I love it. And it's so cool, he followed me on Instagram, so that like made my day. If I could tell
I've talked to him slightly a little bit. I tried to get him out for an interview, but this was just as he was coming back. At that time he was really fucking busy. I think it may have been just before they announced that, because I remember trying to get a hold of him, because it was right around the same time, like it may have been after, because I remember it was like, I can't remember if it was before or after. I think it was before Angry Video Game Nerd had him on. But yeah, I was talking to him about getting him on for an interview. It just didn't work out. But yeah, I'm sure I could at some point, maybe.
If you ever do, I want to be on there with you with that, if you allow me.
Oh yeah, it's just a matter of like I've not done any interviews lately, because I have a pile of them that just haven't gotten finished, edited, or released yet. So I feel embarrassed about that. So I just haven't really conducted any new ones. So yeah.
To be honest, I wasn't going to announce this or say this or anything, because I have to try to refigure this out. But I had Lloyd Kaufman I
What?
literally I had him on StreamYard. I was interviewing him. He was going to be in my documentary for independent film. I still got to. I got to try to get back hold with him. My internet conked out on me as soon as he got there, and I never got to talk to him, and I haven't been able to get back in touch with him yet.
No.
But I've been trying. I gotta
That's
try.
It's like a
horror
nightmare
story if I've
scenario.
ever heard one.
I
Man.
know.
Holy shit.
I
That's
was
your
like-
Halloween horror story.
I had him
Well-
on StreamYard, and he's
Wow.
like, for like 1 minute, and it just like my internet just did not work that day. I don't know why, but it's been working perfect ever since.
Weird.
It's almost like
I'd have been on the phone with my fucking provider, and they would have had a bad day.
you need to hire like an internet guy midget or something to like it just spring out of the hey, it's not working, fix it. All right, you know.
Yeah.
Give him
I
an
had
apple.
Lloyd Kaufman right there, but I'm still trying to get. I'm gonna try to get him back though. So
You gotta win him back now, man.
yeah, probably.
Well,
Gotta get some flowers, some chocolates.
The last thing I heard him say before it all went out was, "Guys, this was the greatest interview I've ever had."
Been long too.
Oh man.
poor guy.
Yeah, but
Multi-all.
yeah, it happened. But I'm gonna try to get back. But anyways, Rook, that movie sounds bad and fun all at the same time. I actually want to see that movie now.
Yes, please watch it. If you look for it again, Blood Angels 2005 or 6, and make sure you say movie. Otherwise, they'll come up with like video games and like porn and stuff, and it's not porn if you believe it or not. But it's funny.
And the cover is pretty solid. It looks like.
Yes, well, it's funny because the main character is not even on the cover. It's just some of the Thrall sisters or whatever, basically the friends. Anyway, yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. So it's good. It's good. But let's move on to you, Tom. What's your first pick of the night?
Oh boy. All right.
What?
That whole internet story you just told me sounds like something that would happen to this character. Ernest, who is scared, stupid.
You know what I mean, Vern?
You know what I mean? This is a very expensive Blu-ray right now.
Yes, it is.
And I bought this when it first came out. Yeah. I used to have the DVD. I don't think I still do anymore. I think I gave it away. I should have sold it. I know I'm an idiot. But no, it's a really good movie, really fun, still holds up really well. One of the best Ernest films. I'm sure most of you guys know that they repurposed the killer clowns from outer space to play the trolls, or uses troll masks in the film. But it's a real solid story. A lot of laughs, just wall to wall laughs. Probably one of the funniest of the Ernest films in that respect.
I think that's my favorite Ernest film.
Is it?
I was gonna
Okay.
say,
Yeah, I can see
I've
that.
seen that one the most.
I mean, I'd say it's like, to me, it's like a tie between this and Christmas, and then probably Ernest Saves Camp, or Ernest Goes to Camp, and then probably Ernest Goes to Jail, and then after that they're all kind of.
There's a lot more of them than I thought there was. Yeah, I thought there was.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
There's a bunch
Once they hit the straight to video range, basically anything slam dunk Ernest and post that is really kind of.
Yeah.
When I remember this one though, I thought this one to me had like the most character to it that I remember anyway. It had the humor as well as like like he's waiting for his dog, or his dog got turned to stone or whatever, and it's like a lot more emotional little pulls in this one.
Well, what's funny is when the movie came out, it scared the shit out of me.
That's what I was about to say.
The
It is
first
kind of
half.
scary.
Yeah, it was actually like good at being legitimately kind of scary.
All right, I'm exaggerating. It didn't necessarily scare the shit out of me, but it did. It was unsettling, right? Because you're like, wait a minute, is this thing killing those kids or whatever? Like,
Right.
Being turned to stone would suck. Like that's
It's like even
weird
when the
prospect.
little girl rolls over in bed and he's laying right beside her and she screams. That's pretty frightening for a kid.
Yeah, you're supposed to be safe in your bed, pretty much. Like that's some good shit for a goofy movie and premise. Like it did a pretty good job at doing some nice little, actually scary touches.
Well, and it's also got Barkley in it, the dog.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the world's most famous animal actors. In fact, he even has a producing credit on IMDb. I shit you not. I don't know if there's any other animal that has a producing credit.
So does that mean it's just in a lot of films or something? Like,
oh, Barkley, he was one of the more famous just because he wasn't in a ton of films. I can't remember. I don't think he didn't really do TV, but he did the Ernest films, Clean Slate, and a couple other movies. but he was just very well known, very adorable. Kind of like just became famous overnight. I remember this. He kind of stole the movie Clean Slate, and he's in Ernest Goes to Jail and Ernest Scared Stupid, and he kind of steals those movies too. I mean, no, not the cheese, the keys. Oh no, that's the mask. That's the mask one. Never mind.
Yeah, I was about to say that's a
No, but Barkley's good too. But Barkley's just as funny. But
That's
no,
good.
like in this one, yeah, when he turns to Wood or whatever, I got worried too. I'm like, no, not Barkley.
Yeah.
Well, his name's
Well,
actually
and then
Rimshot in the movie, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, then it's even like, you know, when all the loved ones that were turned stone are coming out, you know, he's like, you know, where's my loved one? Like, it's just, I don't know, the way it lingered on him. The way it lingered on him, it was like, no, yeah, where's your dog? We don't care about those other characters. Where's yours? Yeah, that's
Some good
Yeah,
old fashioned
poor Rimshot.
Miak.
Yeah, that was yeah.
I love that movie.
It's a good flick.
It is. Was Jim
Good for
Varney-
kids.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites. I can still watch it regularly, with or without kids. So,
Yep.
yeah.
It's like, isn't it like milk like their weapon against the trolls?
Yeah,
for
but
some reason?
it's smeared in the book or whatever, so he just thinks it's Miak.
Yeah. Miak. How about a bumper sandwich, booger lips? Was
Well,
Jim
so
Varney a major star?
Oh, well, major? No. Character actor outside of Ernest, yes.
Yeah.
But he like certain actors like Paul Rubens as Pee Wee Herman just didn't quite get the notice. And I feel like there's a lot of good Ernest movies left on the table. Some of the ones we got near the end were kind of poor. I feel like they could have been better. I mean, shit, we missed out on
how
Ernest
many were
Goes to
there?
Space. I mean, come on.
How
Yeah.
many were there? How many Ernest films were there? Like,
Let's see.
3
There
to
was the
5, but
first.
it's
There was like the initial 4, which were Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Goes to Jail, Scared Stupid,
And Christmas.
like a
and
military one.
Christmas, and then they did Ernest Rides Again, and then Disney came back and did Ernest Slam Dunk Ernest, and then they had like Ernest Goes to Army, Ernest Goes to Africa was the last one, and I think there was 1 or 2 somewhere. Ernest Goes to School was another one. I feel like I'm missing one.
It says there's 9 Ernest movies.
That's what I'm saying. I still feel like I'm missing 1 or 2
Yeah.
or something.
Damn.
Plus the TV show.
Yeah.
Hey, Vern, it's Ernest.
Yep.
Did he star in that show, or did
Oh
somebody
yeah.
else? Okay, good. Yeah. I know some
Oh,
shows-
he's Ernest. I mean, that's all there is to it.
Some
Ernest
shows
Goes
try to
to-
do.
Ernest and
You know
Army.
that some.
Ernest Goes to Africa.
Yeah.
Which one
sorry.
did I miss?
Go on, Rock.
Let me look.
Ernest Goes Back in Time.
That would have been something.
Ernest versus Germany. Never mind.
But the first 4 ones that are the ones that you want to see, because
No, I got them all, and I just got them flipped around. Ernest, the Army one is the one that was the last one.
Right. I know if it was
Plus-
like military school. or
Plus, I got a
something.
collection of all his commercials and bits and shit too,
Yeah.
and a special that he did.
He's an interesting comedic presence in a way. I mean, it's like goofy, kind of dumb, but then
I love all his
he's
characters
got a
too.
great charm with how he does it.
Like this one has one of the better bits with the Ottomans.
Yeah, the Ottomans. The Ottomans. My
Hold
son, bless his heart, or whatever he says when he's the woman. I like when he's the one with the broken neck.
I don't know how to quit.
Yeah.
Am I tripping?
It's true. He never knew when to quit.
Was he in Beverly Hillbillies?
Yes,
Yeah.
he played Jed Clampett in the
Yep.
in the reboot.
Okay, thank God. I was like, that's got to be him. It sounds in my memory like him, but I'm like,
Well,
that
he had a
could've been
character that
completely
was
different
pretty much Jed Clampett anyway.
Yeah.
He's like, yes, sir. Yeah,
It's like, yeah, he's a good actor in that case, like with that. I mean, to be as goofy as he is, and just just regular.
There ain't no
Like
trees in
that.
Bogvaria. I should know. I am a lumberjack and I'm from Bogvaria.
Everything he says sounds kind of funny, even if he's not doing funny, but it's kind of funny. I don't know.
We
Oh,
need
man,
dress
Jesus
shields here.
know-
Shields.
I know it's not in the that movie. It's in the Christmas one, but we to this day will say it's poison because he's got the snakes in it. My boy, bless his soul, because he got bit by one. I love that movie.
This has got like one of the best because he does this thing where he'll look at the camera, look at himself being hurt, look at the camera, look at himself being hurt, and go, ah, that whole thing. This has the best one with the troll trap.
Yeah, when he snaps on his foot.
And his hand or whatever when he goes to grab his lollipop or whatever. The state of the art troll trap 1000.
It is a good movie. That's the
pick.
one. That is the one. That is a good pick. I love that movie. As I said, it is something that is legitimately does get a little scary, especially if you're a younger kid back in the day.
The trolls are really well done by the Kyoto brothers.
Yeah.
I remember when the kid shoots the milk at the one troll's face and he doesn't like die or whatever. Is like, oh no, that's the only weapon they have right now. Like that didn't work. Like, yeah, and then
the main one.
He's the kid just about gets out of his grasp or something, and then grabs his foot, turns him to stone. Is like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
So I feel like catch him when he got turned to stone. These kids getting turned to stone was a weird aspect as a kid. Very creepy, like in the kid mindset of like, you're stoned now. Like that's like worse than being killed or something on screen.
Well, and just the tone and the way it was done was just so like it felt like almost like a slasher film at that point, like just kind of or like a monster movie of sorts. Yeah,
bumper booger or whatever you said. It's like but then this also like.
Well, the last half is when it kind of picks back up, and then you kind of get the idea that because I think they introduced the idea that you can save the kids. But Eartha Kitt, I believe, is the one who says it, where she says you got to do it before the pods hit the ground, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, or I can't remember. Whatever it is they have.
Mother's love or something.
Well, they know the 3 things or 2 things or whatever it is that will help win the day or whatever, but they got to figure it all out. And he's and all that business. So like until you get to that point in the film, you're really kind of left without any real answers.
True. But it's
Eartha Kitt herself was fucking freaky as hell in that movie.
Right? I
didn't realize it was Catwoman for a while. My mom, I think, was one who was like, "That's Catwoman from the Batman series." I'm like, "No, it ain't."
Yeah.
I mean, that old hag.
When you first see her when she opens the house.
Well, she's freaky in that movie.
Yeah. I love it. His ancestors are cursed to be dumber and dumber and dumber.
You're that world boy. Yes, ma'am.
She said if a whirl stomps around and knocks 3 times and he does it right there and the troll comes back.
Of all the trees and all the forests, all the towns.
Oh, that's a good one. It's a good one.
All right. What you got, Greg?
Okay. I wasn't going to bring this one on, but I figured what the heck, I watched it and it helps add some more. So we don't have to talk about this one too long. I didn't watch it last year actually, but it's a Halloween movie. It's Halloween 4. This one. I watched it yesterday because I was just trying to find something.
I think I'm the only one who brought it on before, so whatever.
Yeah, I think you brought it on last year. But I didn't watch it last year and I watched this year. This is one of my favorites. I love 1, 2, H2O, and 4. Not in that particular order. Well, 1, 2, H2O, and 4 probably. But I was like 4. I know some people don't. Some people do. I do have a problem with the ending. I do think the ending is a little stupid. But I like this movie. It's a good movie. I probably should have, for anybody who didn't see the. Also, I tried to add a little spooky, if you guys can see right there.
Oh, nice.
Ooh,
yeah. But yeah, of course I switched. That's not what the mask looks like in the movie.
I posted that. I got a little pushback on that one.
Personally, I don't mind it. I mean, yeah, it is not the greatest mask, but I don't mind it because. Go ahead.
No, the mask is the least of the movie's problems as far as I'm concerned. I don't even remember. I don't think I said this last year, but after I watched it again this last time, I'm just like, this movie's very overhyped by the fans. Very overhyped. It is not a very good sequel. And one of the big problems is, like you already pointed out, the ending, right? And
that's probably my least
it leaves
part.
You nowhere to go with part 5. Because first of all, how are they supposed to follow through with this?
Exactly. That's the problem with
She's
I
way too young for that. And then,
yeah.
it's just, I mean, even though I know, yes, originally Michael was a kid when he did his first murder, but he also sat in a fucking institution for 15 years.
I actually like part 4. I think it is one of the better
It's one of the
sequels.
better of the sequels. I'm not going to lie there, but I feel like it's very, what I mean is like, I think some of the fans hold it to this higher, like, this meme really to me feels like the movie, right? The fans think it's on the left, but in reality, it's the one on the right. It just a pale comparison to the first two, in my opinion.
I
That's
won't
all.
argue, but it's always been one of my favorites, but it doesn't mean I don't have problems with it. And like you said, you're not wrong with this meme at all. You're by no means you're not wrong.
And again, I was one of those who used to make excuses for the movie too, so it's not like I'm not guilty. So
You're not wrong, but I will admit, watching it this time because I haven't watched it in a few years, there was some parts I was like, I don't think I really like that after all. But I still just love the movie. I think it's better than the newer ones. I think it is. You like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, H2O are probably the best Halloween movies as far as I'm concerned.
yeah,
Yeah,
Halloween
so
1, Halloween 2, and H2O are my favorites. Yeah, that's my
yeah.
trilogy.
I love that trilogy too, and I don't mind the Thorn trilogy. Part 5 and 6 gets a little, but they're not bad.
If they were better, I'd like it. But I don't mind 6 as much, but it's just kind of meandering, and I'm not a fan of the producer's cut either.
Yeah, the producer's cut sucks, but I do like part 4. I have no problem. I do have a problem with the ending. I always liked Danielle Harris. I liked I love the beginning of the movie. I think the beginning of the movie is the best part of the movie. It's really what draws you in because it's like when you see Michael, how they bring Michael back and Dr. Loomis back after they clearly burned to death at the end of part 2, and they give you this actually pretty good explanation and like the journey from like Dr. Loomis chasing him to the gas station, and then after the gas station, once they sort of get into Haddonfield, is sort of where it starts to fall apart a little bit because you kind of lose the whole chase because it's kind of like they say it's the Moby Dick chasing it's not Moby Dick, it's Captain Ahab chasing Moby Dick, and it takes a little while to get him to the kids, and then like when he finally gets to Michael just throws him out of the window of a school, and that's it for Dr. Loomis. You don't see him again for a while, and I kind of think that kind of sucks. So I was just like, but much like you, I did find a little more problems with it this time around when I watched it, but I still really, really enjoy the movie.
Well, and you also find out, I think, because this is the one I believe, if I remember right, had studio interference when Mustafa Akkad wanted to be more along the lines of the original film.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, not that the movies changed dramatically from what the original version was supposed to be, but I guess they went back and reshot a lot more gore and added a couple extra deaths from my recollection, much like what happened to part 6. Because of the pushing of the financiers, because they wanted it to, because I mean they did it. If I remember right, they did an early test screening. It didn't test well because it was just kids have been used to seeing Friday the 13th and every other horror film to this point, so like they had to live up to that standard.
Horror films are sold to kids, right?
Well,
sort of.
It's not as bad as cigarettes and booze, but it's along those same lines. Yes.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I said, I enjoyed the 4K. Looks great. These 4Ks by Shout Factories are amazing.
Yeah, decent scan.
Great. Yeah, it's a pretty good scan. And what the writer did admit that he wrote the script in 11 days because they were going on writer's strike back then.
Oh, yeah,
so I was watching the special features. He said once the director and him were hired, he had 11 days to write the script. He wrote it in 11 days right before they all went on strike. So the writers. So there you guys, it was going on back then too.
Or maybe they were just pressured from the start to be that way. I just know that, like I know Mustafa always wanted to go back to the original.
Yeah, because he did not like part 3 at all.
Well, yeah, it was just more so like the reception of it. And this is why he always went the direction he did, and this is why I brought up the whole, I feel like part 4 is overrated by the fans, because that put Mustafa in this mindset that's what the fans wanted. So like, yes and no, right? Like we want Michael Myers and Halloween part of it, but we don't need a big familial thing again. That was, to me, a mistake.
I agree with you. They probably should have
the
just
Thorn
made a new
thing
woman.
was just redonkulous as fuck. I mean, and this was kind of their opportunity to take it back to this idea that, Michael's just stalking babysitters again, and doesn't really matter who Laurie
Yeah.
Strode was or anything like that at this point. Or
I did-
they should have ponied up the money at that time and figured out a way to bring her back sooner than that. I know she didn't want to come up no matter what, and she didn't. She had an astronomical asking price at that point. I think they approached her people, but yeah, she got nowhere near the project because there's no way they could have afforded her. I think her salary probably would have been what the budget of the movie was.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, like I said, I enjoy it. I prefer 1, 2, and H2O as like a good trilogy, but I do love 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, and then 5 and 6 are a bad conclusion, but I do love 3 too. I think that's me though.
It's its own thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's its own thing. That's the best thing about Halloween. You can choose your own adventure. I'm Brian Barth. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Dr. Loomis is a better character than Laurie.
I agree. He's Michael Myers. Whatchamacallit? I just forgot the name from Dracula.
Van Helsing.
Van Helsing, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, he's Captain Ahab. He's Van Helsing. He's essentially the final boy, the final guy that you want to, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Well, he's a lot of things wrapped into one, and at the same time, kind of a unique character. Yet he's the same character that's in almost all of these movies at the same time. It's really weird. And you're right; he's very unique in the horror genre.
Very unique, yes. And you're not wrong. Like, as much as I love Danielle Harris, because I do love Danielle Harris, I think she's an awesome woman, and I do like her character in the movie. But much like some movies, they needed to move away from Laurie. They just needed to move away from Laurie. Period. She had the first 2 movies. It's okay to create a new girl or new guy, much like the Friday the 13th movies did with Tommy. Because they get different people each movie, and then Tommy came along, and he was, for the 3 movies at least, he had a 3-movie trilogy sort of. So they needed to sort of move away from Laurie, I do think, and not make it
like in part 6. They could almost re-edit that movie, and they should have had it to where they're not even related to the Myers, right? It should have just been there's people living in his house now, so he just starts to go after
like
whoever so like the closest to the sister figure in the household, right? Like that. Even though I still that to me was my biggest gripe about all of these Halloween movies is, if you're going to reset this whole thing, and you've had several chances and opportunities to do it, 4 would have been the first time. Because even though, we're not retconning the Laurie Strode bit, but all we are doing now is taking it away from this idea that he has to stalk somebody in his family. Because that's where the Thorne shit comes into play. That's where they kind of tied this all back around to. And John's never liked that concept. And they had the opportunity in Halloween 2018 to make it more of a thing. They didn't, right? Even though they're still technically not brother and sister, they might as fucking well be.
They should have just left them brother and sister by
at that point. It's so muddy in 2018 when it should have been clear that yes, what you should have had at that moment is Laurie realizes this guy don't give a fuck about me. He's just after the babysitters. And she becomes the Loomis character at that moment because nobody else knows more about him than her. At least then it puts her lifetime of, being this survivalist and what she probably knows about Michael Myers now in comparison, and all the things she probably has soaked up from Loomis over the years or what have you. You could also have had her be like, keeping in touch with Loomis all these years and stuff like that, or something like along those lines. You could have done something with it. Hell, you could have brought back Josh Hartnett. Otherwise, if you're going to go the other way, you don't need.
They could have brought Josh Hartnett and Danielle Harris back. They could have brought them both.
Well, what you could have done is kind of a nod. Is just had her be his wife. Is all. It's just kind of a nod. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and they have a daughter now themselves. Here we are, 20 fucking years since the last time. Duh.
H4O. That's David Gordon Green. Don't even get me started on him, because I liked him when he first started, and then by the more he made, it's like, I don't like you. It's like you make shit. You turn something good and turn it to shit.
And this is where you could have passed the baton down, because you have Josh Hartnett and her character have a baby that's a girl who grows up to be, a teenager. Now she's a teenager in H4O, like we just said, like the character they have there now already.
Exactly.
But she's unlikable. But anyway.
But yeah, I know I didn't want to go on to a whole Halloween thing
it's sad because I love Halloween, but I feel like it's one of the worst of the franchise as far as the sequel muck that it's mired in. Yeah.
You know what's sad is there is like, let's see what I was thinking, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 13 Halloween movies and
Yeah.
only 10 Friday the 13th movies. It's like, if anything, there should be 13 Friday the 13th movies.
No shit. Well, technically, if you count the remake, I think the next one would be 13 and Freddy versus Jason.
We talked about that last time. Like, if they were to make their 13th, that should be their final one, and that should be their like best send off that they can possibly come up with. Like, really take their time on it to capitalize the end of that little franchise. Because why would they Friday the 13th Part 14 be like, no, now there's no where do you go at? Like, no, end on the 13th.
It is, but yeah,
I hope so.
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, personally, I really enjoy Part 4. I will be honest though, this time watching it, I did catch it really falls apart in the third act of the movie.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it falls apart in the third act, but I still really enjoy the movie. Like
I'm not trying to tear it down. I'm just
no. I mean, guys, just because we say some bad things about the movie doesn't mean we don't like the movie. We just can see some of the problems we have with it now.
Not everything ages like wine, kids.
Yeah, like I don't like the ending. I think the
Halloween 1 and 2, like fucking fine fucking wine.
Yeah.
H2O, not a fine wine, but great wine, great fucking wine. The rest of the Halloween franchise, keeping 3 out of the mix, including the remakes and reboots, all a clusterfuck of shit, in my opinion. To be clear, because even Part 4, like I said, watching it last year, and the more I've thought about it, I'm like, the fans are part of the problem with this movie because, and I hate saying it that way because I hate saying those kind of things, but it is true. There is this faction of the fans that hold this movie up on this pedestal it does not fucking belong. Like, for some reason. It's like, no, Halloween 4 is not as great as you fucking say it is. It's not even near as good as Halloween 2 or H2O for that matter. But if you like it, more power to you. I love some horrible fucking movies too.
Like I said,
is it as bad as 5 and 6? Fuck no. That's all it's really got going for.
It's in my top 4 though. I'll be honest. I will be honest.
That's not hard to do in the Halloween franchise, man. It's probably in my top 4 too, if I think about it.
I probably do put it on a little bit of a pedestal myself, but I'm with you. I think 1, 2, and maybe H2O.
The underrated one is probably Resurrection, and the only reason that movie is shit is because the first 15, 20 minutes. Once you get past that, I would say I kind of give him credit for trying something different with this whole being ahead of the reality show gig a bit and doing it set in the Myers house, and that's what sets Michael off. Like, I didn't have so much, once it hits that portion of the film, I don't have a problem with it. And I've come to find out, I guess there's a few people with me that are kind of in that same vein. It's like, if you could cut off that first end of it, it works as a straight Halloween sequel again, where you don't need any fucking connection to the previous films outside of people are in Michael's house and you don't like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, sure. Busta Rhymes is fucking so bad. He's hilarious.
I'll tell you.
I'm not going to lie about that. But I mean, the rest of the movie for me, I thought, it's in line with most franchise sequels. That one's a little bit better than a lot of other sequels in horror films, mainly for that.
I'll give you that much, but I will say it's better.
But I get the Laurie Strode thing at the beginning turns so many fucking people off, just like it did me. And
I'm not a big fan of the Busta Rhymes ending either. But I haven't seen Resurrection in a while. Maybe I'll watch it.
It's just the idea of it. Like, again, it's kind of like with Jason Goes to Hell. I feel like it's overly bashed, right? You give it such a, it's so fucking beat to hell that it's like, you stop and step back and look at Jason Goes to Hell. It's like, you know what? I give them fucking credit. They tried something different. Did they succeed? Fuck no. But you know what? And I said this right to Adam's face, or to his, over the stream. I was like, look, you tried something, man. In a lot of people's eyes, you failed, but at least you shot for the fucking moon.
I told him something similar.
I'm like, we had 8 movies already, basically the same fucking thing after the other at that point. Sure, we all love that, and we all love having the same pizza every night, but after a while, you want to try something different. So we went to a different restaurant this time. Was it the same thing? No. Was it good? That depends on your fucking taste.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
To me, Halloween Resurrection, it didn't taste so good at first, but as I got into I thought it tasted a lot better than it did. To me, Halloween 4 at first, eating it, it feels like, okay, I'm getting something new and exciting. And then I just realized it's the same thing, but they just added like a little bit of seasoning to it. It's really nothing new. You know what I mean? Like the only thing new added to it is the kid factor. And that's one of the few times I side with Siskel and Ebert on their crusade against horror films, is like, unless it's necessary, I don't see why you should be putting kids in danger or in these kind of situations. And to me, that felt cheap, and I know why they did it. It's just because, they tried to have some familial connection to Laurie Strode. So I give them an excuse this time out, but it's like still the ending really kind of outdoes that, because having her then kind of get the curse and it's just all that business.
Yeah.
Turning her into that, it just really, to me, turned my stomach as an adult than it did when I was younger. When I was younger, it's just like, whatever, it's a shocking ending, just like all the horror movies have. But as I've watched it now the last few times, I'm just like, you did this just because you really didn't know what to do with this.
Yeah, I think that's the bit. I mean, like I said, I love the movie, and I get all your points, but I do think the third act falls apart, and I'm not a fan of the ending. But it's still, like you said, it's still one of the best. I haven't watched Resurrection in a while because I really don't like Resurrection, but I think it's definitely better than Halloween.
Well, and it goes against the whole idea, because she should be she should not succumb to the curse. Even if it's just a Fugazi thing, unlike the Thorn business, because her mom never did.
Right, exactly. But we do have some super chat stuff, but I do. That's okay. I do want to answer some of these questions real quick. Brian Barth, no, Robert Zombie's horror Halloween's suck ass. Resurrection is 100.
If you like people screaming at each other for like 2 hours, then
the best part of his is there's some good full frontal nudity. That's legitimately the best part of his movies. Yes, I was surprised that Donald Pleasance reprised his role for all 6, but I'm glad he did.
I'm not, because he told Mustafa Akkad that he'd only do 22 of them.
Oh, that's right.
Because he goes, Mustafa, I can't do this forever. And Mustafa's like, what do you mean? I'll stop at 22, and then no more. So that was always this goal that Mustafa had before he got killed, was
to make 22
to make 22 Halloween films. Yeah,
for him. Oh well. But we do have a $20 super chat from VHS Mikey. What is up, VHS Mikey? Love you, big guy. Says, love your show. You do so much for the community. Thank you so very much. We try to keep physical media alive here, and I appreciate you so very much. Thank you for the $20 super chat. You're awesome. I wish I did have a Halloween.
Very generous.
Yes, very generous. Thank you. I do wish I had a Halloween a thing, but I'll give you.
I can do this.
Stand by Don. We'll swallow your soul.
I love it.
There you go.
There you go. Okay. And then I was going to clip, but I think Tom did a really good job there. So we'll go on to the next super chat from 6.
Boobies.
For $2. Yes. Thank you for the boobs, 6. You know I love me some boobs, and I do have something special for that.
Eat like you son of a bitch.
Guns and guns.
Guns and guns. Still waiting on the Blu-ray for that one. Will we ever get it? Hopefully one day. Just so you know, that's what is that called? Damn it, it's a Slumber Party Massacre 3, but it's not called Slumber Party Massacre 3.
I got the first 2.
I can't remember what it's called. Hard to Die. It's called Hard to Die, directed by Jim Wynorski. It's legitimately the same cast from Slumber Party Massacre 2. Or not Slumber Party Massacre. I'm sorry. It's Sorority House Massacre.
Oh, Sorority
House Massacre 3 is what it is. It's the same cast from Sorority House Massacre 2, but this time it's in a high rise and it's Die Hard. With women who get in lingerie and naked fight off a serial killer.
So, how else would they do? Other clothes would weigh them down.
Yeah. It's produced by Roger Corman. But yeah, I want to get that on Blu-ray. But thank you, 6. Thank you, Mikey. Appreciate you guys. Bronson, yes, I've listened to the songs by Ozzy, Spiders and Zombie. It's been a while. I haven't listened to the No More Tears album or the the Full Bark of the Moon album in a while, but I have heard this. Great songs by Ozzy. Metal, baby. Okay, back to you, Rook. What do you got for us for your second pick of the night?
Oh boy, this will be one of your favorites, I'm sure. This is called The Cook.
Never heard
God,
of it.
man, where do you find these
Yes.
fucking movies?
Bro,
I thought
They
I
were
was
on
the one that finds all
Netflix.
these.
They were on early
Why,
Netflix.
what is this shit?
On early Netflix.
Are
when they
these
were-
really movies? Are you just making up shit and like making out fake covers and stuff like? Oh,
It's a movie. Directed by
Never
Greg
heard of this.
wait, that
Direct-
disc could be paper.
by Greg Simmons, and yeah, you know,
Ah, it's real. God damn it!
And then he popped it out.
I thought I
Exactly.
had him on this one. I'm like, these aren't
What?
real movies. He's making this shit up.
it's sorority babes, the other white meat.
Well,
You know,
I'm
he's
sold.
the cook, they're the dinner. That's what it says right there. I'm gonna read the description because I think you guys will just love that. This will answer the questions you'll have about it. So it's a long holiday weekend at the sorority house, and a handful of girls stay behind to indulge in 3 days of partying, sex games, and strangely delicious meats prepared by
As you
the
do.
weird new chef. But as the sisters begin to disappear one by one, the remaining co-eds, the slut, the stoner, the Bible beater, the dumb hot blonde, the predatory lesbian, the tease, the dominatrix, and the good girl will find themselves trapped in a nightmare of graphic slaughter, involuntary cannibalism, and heaping helpings of gourmet nudity.
Nice.
What?
Where's he find?
This-
And I love how
this
it
is
matches
made
up
for
with the
ya.
sorority house massacre from
Yeah.
the clip.
What?
This is made for you guys. Like this is a film you guys should have watched that I discovered.
What?
I can't believe he finds these. And I
No,
thought
it-
I was
But yeah, no, I know. But the thing is,
Morgan Creek.
Morgan Creek made it.
so well, it says directed by Greg Simmons, but Morgan Creek's probably on here as well.
That's
but
the production company there.
that-
Look,
Yeah.
well, it's just they released the DVD,
Yeah,
I
the
think. Or is that
yeah,
something
yeah.
else? Maybe that's not Morgan Creek.
Mill Creek, maybe down at the bottom.
Or Mill Creek, I mean. Is
Hold it up
yeah,
a
it
little
is.
bit. Hold it up a little bit.
Yeah, it is. Never mind. It is.
Yeah, okay.
yeah,
I
but
can
no.
see it
So
now.
funny thing though. So this was a random movie that was on Netflix
I meant Mill Creek, yeah.
streaming.
Yeah.
This was on Netflix streaming, and then after a while, I was like, I wanted to review obscure films that I thought nobody's heard of. This was clearly gonna be one of them. So I was trying to find it. It wasn't on Netflix anymore. I was looking for somewhere to buy it. Amazon said just wasn't available for streaming, DVD, nothing. And this little store near my house, the only one that I know of that has physical media anymore, well, it's in our mall anyway. For Your Entertainment, FYE. Or whatever. I was just like, by any chance, you guys heard of this movie? They're like, yeah, we got one in stock. I'm like, son of a bitch. All
I
right,
can't believe- look at
leave it
this.
to the movie store to come up with it. All right, you know, I found a DVD at a DVD store or at a movie store. You know, so
I cannot believe you find these. See, the thing is, like, I would watching and talking to the director of the VHS Massacre.
yeah,
If this was early days Netflix, what they did is they sort of licensed a bunch of independent films from.
Oh, yes.
And but once they got their footing, they like crapped all over
Yeah.
all these
oh,
independent.
they
people.
got rid of them all.
They removed them all, and
Yes,
like the guy Tom Seymour, shout out to him, who directed the VHS Massacre movies. They screwed over a bunch of independent directors and filmmakers after they got big and went corporate. And like, so if that was like early days, more
No,
likely the people that made that movie got screwed over big time.
this was I probably saw this in 2011 with Netflix, and it was probably only there for like a year, I think, before they scrapped it. I'm guessing, but no, it's like
Demon Runner went and watched on Netflix.
well, no, it's just it's funny. So yeah, but I mean, you know, say what you want about Netflix, but I mean, it's because of that I found a lot of these obscure.
I mean,
movies
I'm happy that it's
own.
something you find.
So,
I don't watch
you know.
it really, but I'm glad it's
No,
something
but
you
I
find
mean,
these crazy
I'm
ass
saying-
movies.
Yeah, I'm saying it helped me find all these weird movies that nobody else has seen. So I thank it for that at least. But no, I watched it. I haven't seen it since I saw it the first time. It's just they're in this house. There's a chef. He's cooking food, and there's the sorority,
Lesbians.
and there's like just weird scenes, and he's just like, "Hey, you can eat chef. Basically, I'm gonna feed you to people." It's just like I don't know, but it's a funny. I remember it was funny though. So
See,
I
now you're
think
going to have to go through with this movie and the last movie, and you're going to
Yeah.
have to count the number of boobs because that has got to be that's an important.
You know
part
what?
Of these
No.
movies.
I want you guys to watch the movie, and you guys can make the boob count, and you'll have seen the movie. You can do a review on it. You can go, hey guys, horror community, VHS community, The hell are these movies? We gotta check these out. Like,
I've never heard of either one of
Blood
those
Angels.
movies.
Yeah. What's the chat thinking on this?
I mean, you sold Mikey on it. He's in.
Mhm.
Brad's the only one that knows it.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Brad, bro. All right. Yeah. Nice.
That's it. Nobody else knows this movie.
These are movies even Runner wouldn't watch on it. Oh, that's what he said.
What's the boob to balls ratio?
There's like 2 male characters, I think, and the rest are all like hot chicks, I think. So
I'm going to have to search these movies out because these sound like crazy fun movies. I've never in my life ever heard of them though.
Yeah, I know, right? Just this window of time, I caught a few. That's where I found the Deep in the Valley one that I showed before, and the Sex and Death 101 movie that I showed before on other ones. Like, they're just obscure films that like just a lot of not very popular, but they were there and it's on streaming. I was like, oh, just movies. Here's movies. All right, cool, new movies, cool. So yeah, well, I found these.
Interesting picks, and glad that you're finding stuff that we don't know. So,
and they're horror films that you guys don't know. That's what shocks me the most.
It's weird.
They're in your genre.
Well, me and Tom we usually stick to like the older horror movies, like the
That's
80s,
true, the
90s,
more 80s and stuff. You're right.
70s.
These ones were early 2000s. I
mean,
both of them were 2000s.
If it's like a Full Moon or a Roger Corman movie, and sometimes Troma, maybe, but like those, I can't believe I don't know them. So,
gotcha. I gotcha. One's for a future list, maybe.
Yeah. Interesting. All right, Tom, are you ready for your next pick of the night?
Sure, why not? Here's another one that you can watch with the kiddos if you're looking for a Halloween film. Only I think it's out of print, even in its newest incarnation, even though it's been on Blu-ray twice. And that would be the classic Space Invaders. Here's the Kino Lorber edition that came out not too long ago.
Is the Kino out of print already?
It might not be. It might be. It might not be. I can't remember. But of course, it was directed by Patrick Reed Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Great, funny flick. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. Came out in 1990. The basic story is these aliens who intercept a broadcast. They're Martians who intercept a broadcast from Earth of Orson Welles' War of the Worlds, and they think they're late to the party.
Prepare to die, Earthlings.
It's hilarious.
I love that movie.
Osney, I don't have time for your crap right now. I'm trying to end Earth.
The Jack Nicholson guy one. I love that guy.
He figures out that it's a broadcast. Oh no, we're dead.
It is a good movie. That's a good 90s movie too. Like that and Ernest. It's great pairing. Great double feature actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that is funny. Like I think I brought this one on last year. It's a great movie where the War of the Worlds, they show up, they think they're gonna do this, and then like they meet those two kids, and I remember for the life of me, for the longest time, I could not remember what the kid in the duck costume looked like without being in the duck costume.
You only see him at the end, yeah.
Exactly. It's like because like when I was growing up, I was like, "What did that kid look like?" I cannot remember. It wasn't until later on when I got the movie again that I was like, "Oh yeah, that's who the kid was." It's
Ariana Richards' first film, who of course was in Jurassic Park, and this is where Steven Spielberg actually saw her for the first time, because I guess he loved this movie.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't this? That's right. That's what I read. Steven Spielberg helped Patrick Reed Johnson get this movie made. That's right.
Sort of. He got it, helped to get released.
Yeah, he helped get it released. That's what it was. Because that's what he said in. Was it in the special features on that, or was it in the movie that he made?
Yeah,
special features on the movie.
On the Kino Lorber, yeah, and the special features.
They
talk about how it didn't seem like anybody was into. They made it independently because Patrick had written out a bunch of movies up to that point. He kind of reiterates a little bit of the story that's covered in 5/25/77, and then he talks about like, writing for all this stuff. And then he's like, people kept telling me I should just direct a movie. So I said, to hell with it, I'm going to direct a movie. And he made it, and they made it for, I think, $1.5 million or something like that. Maybe a little more. I can't remember what it was, but they made it for real cheap. And so they were showing it around, and nobody seemed to be interested in it until Patrick's agent goes, all right, I'll fix this. So she calls like Warner Brothers, and she goes, aren't you sending anybody over today? And they're like, what do you mean? Well, like, everybody's here at the screening, and Warner Brothers hasn't sent anybody yet. And they're like, oh, well, we'll get somebody on that right away. And so they hang up phone. She calls Paramount, and she goes, where's your guys? Is nobody going to come see this movie? Like, so-and-so and everybody else is coming. Where are you at? And so she went down the line and just called everybody, claiming, to everybody else that, Jeffrey Katzenberg's coming down. You better be here.
Yeah.
Before you knew it, everybody in town was having a bidding war, and it came down to Katzenberg and Spielberg, and they had worked out some kind of deal that it would be released through Disney with, I think, an Amblin. I don't think it's considered an Amblin film, but they have some kind of stake in it, I guess. But which would be, yeah. So like I don't think Steven Spielberg gets any screen credits, or Amblin gets any screen credits, but they have a stake in the movie, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels very much like an Amblin movie, very much in the same vein. It's a great fun movie. I love that movie. It's just, and the puppetry with the aliens, just, it works. Their faces, their expressions, I absolutely love it. It's such a good movie. Rook, I highly doubt you've ever seen it, have you?
Nope.
All right.
Die, scum!
Scum!
Hold on, I want to address something in the chat real quick. Sorry if it does anything here. So this guy George Serrano says Rook has no response in the chat. He said that he got scammed on the Phantom Collective. Dude, I don't know who you are, if you're somebody that's been a patron or something to the Phantom Collective, but our account got suspended on Twitter, dude. And I've been posting content on the channel all month. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know what his issue is with us either. So yeah.
Yeah. So
no idea.
Yeah. But to the movie, it's a great movie. Space Invaders is a good, fun movie. So if you're looking for something 90s for the kids to watch, or just even to watch yourself, go ahead and watch it. It's a good movie. So I guess any final words before we move on to me?
No, I just I can recommend it if it's still available from Kino. Get your hands on it while you can, because I wasn't sure if it was still available or not.
I have not checked. But yeah, I got mine a while back too, so I don't know. Did you see Bill Hunt on the Burn Network channel on YouTube? Interesting. I have not. Did you see it?
Mm-mm.
We'll have to go look at that here soon. But we'll go to me. I got a Carpenter flick for you, and this is weird because just so you know, it's Christine. I watched Christine on the 4K, the great 4K, 35th anniversary here. It's actually the 40th anniversary now, which is so weird. I didn't know that. I was like at the house, and I was like, oh, I want to watch some scary movies, and I watched Christine. I haven't seen Christine in a long time, and then like right after I watched it, the very next day I go online and like, it's everybody saying, oh, it's the 40th anniversary of Christine. It came out on this day. And then like so many people did reviews of Christine. I was like, the hell, how did that happen? I just wanted to watch Christine. How did that happen? So it's the 40th anniversary of Christine this year. And this is a great movie. If you've never seen it, directed by John Carpenter. This was sort of his comeback movie, but also the movie kind of just took because he needed a job. And based on Stephen King's story. This is a great movie. If anything, as I was watching this movie, not to bring it back again, but it made me hate Halloween Ends even more, because I knew he ripped off Christine for Halloween Ends, but I didn't realize how much he actually ripped off Christine and how many scenes he legitimately just copied. I mean, like straight copied from this movie. And I was just like, I did not realize that at all. I mean, I knew it was Corey Cunningham Arnie Cunningham and with the mask, what it did, and Christine in the car and all that. But like, there's like, you watch this and there's some scenes that he just straight ripped off and just repurposed for that. But regardless, Christine is a great movie. It's a great movie where this like nerdy kid, he finds his car, this old beat up Plymouth, and he buys it, and his best friend's like this cool guy who's, you know, tries to protect him. And then as he starts to rebuild the car, you come to find out the car was basically born evil, and you know, the car sort of consumes Arnie and turns him into something he's not, and his friends try to save him, and you know, murder mayhems ensues with killing bullies, and it's just a really great, fun. Well, I guess I should say fun, because it's not. I mean, it's a good, fun watch, but it's not like a fun movie for the people dying in the movie and stuff. But the 4K looks amazing. It's a great movie. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend it. Check it out. So, any thoughts from anybody else on Christine? I guess before we move on,
I have it, but I haven't watched the 4K yet.
it looks great. I mean, it looks really good. I was surprised for it. But then it is done by Sony, so Sony does great work. They take care of their movies.
So what was the boob ratio?
There's no boobs in Christine.
What?
It's not that type of movie.
I'm just kidding.
It's not that type of movie. If there was, trust me, I would tell you how many boobs there is.
I trust you.
Yeah. Is that Bill Hunt was on Sunday? He said, yeah, Cars from the Car from Hell. It is great. I mean, you got it. What always just boggled my mind was that how everybody kept saying they hated his car. And I'm like, the car looks smoking awesome. It's freaking an awesome looking car. But I get why they ever had to say it, because, you know, it was an evil car and stuff like that. So, yeah. It's not that type of movie. Sounds like a bumper sticker.
That sounds like a tagline in some movie. It's not that type of movie.
Just headlights. That's all you see. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, when I speak John Carpenter's name, he's in the same name as Scorsese and all the greats like that to me. So that's the way I feel. But no other words. Let's go to you, Rookie. What do you have for us for your next pick of the night?
All right. This is the last one that I think you guys have not seen before, but let me know if you have. Altered.
Nope. Oh, you're going to get Tom started.
Nope.
Yeah.
Look at the
Ignore the Blair Witch thing.
Wait, what? What's wrong with that? The Blair Witch.
The directors of the Blair Witch. It's a thing.
Oh, he probably doesn't like the Blair Witch or something. No. That. Well, this one, Tom, regardless, I think I haven't seen the Blair Witch, but I think this one's probably potentially better, maybe. I don't know, because it's not trying to do the found footage thing. The premise is these four guys and one of their friends. They're take the abduction aspect of things with aliens, UFOs, and stuff. One of their friends got killed by these aliens after and a couple of them were returned to Earth and stuff. One of them got killed, and so they go and hunt down one of these aliens to try to get revenge on killing their friend, essentially. So they capture an alien, but it's really, really freaky how they do this with this one. This alien, like, if it looks at you directly, like if it gets eye contact with you, it can like sort of control your mind a bit. They do some very disgusting gore stuff in this film. Basically, there's only basically one alien, but it's treated as a serious threat. And the reason why one of them doesn't want to kill the alien is because if they kill the alien, that might be incentive for the other aliens to like just wipe out mankind or something. Like the kind of thought of like, you know, what happens if certain animals get out of control or something, or if they, you know, don't know why they went on this killing spree. What are they going to do? Just mess with them. They're choosing to not finish off mankind for some reason. But it's a very like local, small. It's basically my friend got abducted, we're going to go get some aliens thing, but it's like taken seriously. The scene that kind of sells it, I think, for you guys, the chick who gets her mind controlled for a little bit, she's like, kind of going a little nuts with it. So they have to like restrain her to the bed for a bit while they try to like they got all their like trying to get the doors covered, trying to get things going. One of the sheriff guys comes into town and they think these guys are kind of wacko and stuff. The alien comes in under the bed. He's like behind her and one of the guys it launches at one of the guys, and we come into the room, and you just see the intestines on the floor. You see the alien holding the intestines of this guy across the floor, and he just holding them in, just like, guys, don't move. He's trying to pull, mommy, no. It's like, I was sold on that to see the film. So I was like, okay, this is actually a really, really good one. So
where did you find this one at now?
I found this one. I don't remember.
I've never heard of this. I'll be honest with you, this is probably the weakest of the three you've shown so far.
Well, I mean, it's a more serious take with the stuff, and it's more like there's the gore in it is really good. I think there's only like 6 characters in it essentially though, and I don't know. I think it's a good one. It's not the same level as The Cook in terms of goofiness at all. It takes itself very seriously, but I think the premise is good enough on itself. If you like any of that kind of stuff, I think that would be a good one. Weakest, the boob. There's no boobs. There's no naked.
Not
boobs,
everyone needs them.
But
to be honest with you, I didn't know the director of Blair Witch did any other movies. I thought he did the movie and then a TV show, and that was it. So I didn't know he did any other movies.
Yeah, but yeah, and what's funny, I haven't seen the Blair Witch. I haven't seen the Blair Witch Project, so I don't know. That was going to be on my list for this year, but I just wasn't in the mood. I was like, okay, whatever. but I like this one, and I recommend this one. There's really not much else to say about it. It's just a good rated R horror film with an alien, dude in it. And I think the design for the alien's really creepy too, grotesque face with it. So
I have to look it up once again, because this is one I have not seen. I've never heard of.
The director's Eduardo Sanchez, I think. Or you guys know the director, whoever it is. When it does the Blair Witch Project, you'll find it.
Random Brad looks to be the only one to have seen it again from the last 2 movies he did.
Dang, dude.
It's like Blair crap, more like.
I guess so. Yeah, I haven't seen Blair Witch, so like all I know is that everybody's praised it my whole life. So I don't know if there's stigma around it or not, because.
No, Tom.
As an aspiring filmmaker, don't watch it. But I will say this: I wouldn't have such a reaction to you watching all these obscure movies if you'd actually seen some of the classics.
I know what you mean. It's like I've seen all these really weird ones, yet also haven't seen the ones everyone else has all seen all the time. Yeah, I understand the frustration.
Because then at least you'd probably go, "Oh, well, I see what this movie's ripping off now."
You're right.
90% of these movies that you've shown, I guarantee you, that's what they are. Is just
most likely, yes.
Hodgepodge of ripoffs.
Well, when I start watching, I'll be like, "Hey, this looks familiar." When I start watching the popular ones. You're right.
You get it. I get it. It happens though, but you're the younger, so you probably I get you. But yeah,
no, it's just there was only just one period of my time where I was just finding weird movies, and I like where I was that much into exploring to find them at the time, and I just haven't had that same type of luck, I guess, with these ones. So
happens. I feel you.
Yeah, exactly. Good. That's that one. So.
All right.
Bronson, I can't really answer this question for you because I've never seen the Haunted Mansion from 2003. So has anybody seen it and thought, did you guys like it?
Eddie Murphy one?
Neither. Neither. Yeah, I had the first one on VHS, but never watched it.
The Eddie Murphy one, I think it was a Disney production. It does. It's the Ride. It's a Disney.
Yeah, they both are. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those silly movies that they have where I'm like, I don't need to watch that. And I watched it when I was younger. I was like, yeah, I'm never watching that again.
Sorry, can't help you, Bronson, because I haven't seen it, so I don't know but I'm glad you think it looks reflects the mansion itself, so that's pretty cool. But Tom, to you, what is your next pick? I hope it's something.
Well, back to the horror films again.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Scream.
No.
Yes,
what?
Scream, baby.
Scream again?
No,
I mean,
not again.
I loves me some Scream. Yeah.
Oh, I'm kidding. It's the 1981 film called Scream.
Wait, what? That's not the Scream I meant.
Yeah, there
He
you go.
wielding
It was
the
the
moon?
perfect weekend. I
Is he
guess.
wielding the moon?
No, it's supposed to be a Sith or
It's
whatever.
a
It comes
sickle.
Scythe,
Scythe or whatever.
Yeah,
I
it's
got-
like-
Now,
I
one thing I got to say right off the bat: this whole hosted by
Hey.
Maria Calinelli thing ain't on this disc.
Oh, what?
ain't even on there.
False advertising. Oh my god.
Neither is the theatrical trailer. So first and foremost, I guess this is Code Red's first 4K Blu-ray. I'm assuming why there's a 1 on it.
I believe it
They
is.
blew that already. It's from the negative 16 millimeter with extensive restoration and color correction. I guess that's a plus. I'm not even sure this is why this is a horror movie. Look,
It's look at the font, dude. The font is like, ooh, it's a horror movie.
when you find out that the maker of this movie really didn't know what he was making, it shows.
Tom can't even get out what he wants to say.
Your lack of speech says a lot. You know, it says a lot.
Let it out. Let it out.
I have a feeling that because this movie feels weird because it starts off with you can see it on the back here. There's these little figurines of the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time it gets to the end of the credits, everybody but the butcher's head's cut off. And I guess the original title of the film was The Butcher, the Baker, and the Candlestick Maker. And this movie is clearly trying to be like an Agatha Christie thing, especially with the poem bit.
Right.
But then the movie starts and just doesn't really go anywhere. Here's the best I can explain of this. The soundtrack after the opening credits is like from an 80s sitcom. I don't know what the fuck the composer's doing here. And nothing fucking happens forever. Like it starts off, they're on this boating trip and they hike for a while. It's just this group of people. They don't really give you any reason or explanation why they're together. And again, it has a very 10 Little Indians kind of vibe at first to it as it gets going. But then you realize that it's not going anywhere. Like people get killed off screen a lot. And the only star in the movie that I can recognize is the guy who played the bully in the cafe in Superman 2.
That's really obscure too.
Exactly. Like this is one of the weirdest, dumbest fucking. It almost feels like, okay, we're shooting this horror movie, but we're going to shoot it to where in case we sell it to television, we don't want it to be too violent. No swearing, no tits, no actual blood on screen. Maybe once in a while we'll show some blood on a knife or a scythe or whatever, but never actually on screen. And then the weird thing is, okay, so they go to this they stumble into this ghost town on their hike. And they inexplicably stay there as they start getting hacked off one by one. And they just keep putting the dead bodies in one of the houses or one of the places and just covering them up. And you get to a point where you don't even know who was killed or who half these people are half the time, what their relationship is to each other. And then at one point, like, a couple of the guys leave after these motorcycle guys show up in town because they got lost. And then one of them is brought back dead by what is like this deathly kind of figure. And I guess he's the only other semi-star in this movie. I'm trying to remember what he was in otherwise, but I can't even recall offhand. But I know I've seen him before, at least in a couple things. But he kind of sets up like this idea that there's this like, it's a really dumb fucking weird convoluted thing where he was like second or first mate to this captain on this boat who got screwed over. So he built this town. And this is the town, and it's a ghost town. And then he just leaves, and then he saves them at the end from this fucking killer who does not get seen on screen. So I don't know if they're implying it's the ghost of the sailor guy, captain, or he's like possessing people and killing people? Or what?
Was it just like, let's just make a movie?
And then it ends. And I'm like, I just said, this is the longest 82-minute movie I've ever seen in my fucking life.
No, jeez. You could watch The Cook instead of that. That's the same amount of time.
But hey, according to Media Mike, Ethan Wayne, John Wayne's youngest son, was in this movie. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's in it too. I'm sorry, that's the other guy. Sorry, but he disappears, and then he comes back, and it's like there's just nobody really explains anything, or why, or what, and then it just ends, and you're like, yeah, this guy was. And it was an expensive ass fucking disc. Yes, I was pissed. It's like, this is one of those elusive horror films that I always knew about, but I never saw because, when Scream came out, I was like, oh, there's another movie called Scream.
Right, yeah. So now I know I don't need to see this.
Fuck this movie. Fucking mad at it.
I don't blame you one bit.
Fucking very mad at it.
Brian Barr says you're just better off with Wes Craven's Scream.
You're not wrong, Brian. It was kind of the best part of this was we got the little joke in the front end, but
yeah,
it is just the dumbest fucking movie I've ever seen. One of the dumbest. Why?
Why would it get 4K too?
Honestly, if I had access to like a ghost town like they do in this movie, I could have come up with a shit ton of more interesting storylines. Like the whole idea of this, okay, this town was built by the. Like, if he's fucked over, come up with his revenge story. Okay, you can work with that. But it goes nowhere and explains nothing.
Just meanders, huh?
Yes, literally. Like, people are seriously, literally just meandering through the town. Aimlessly. It's like, get the fuck out of there. Y'all are dying.
I wonder what's in this door. Hey, did you guys see Tommy? He's dead.
He's dead. Who?
The guy that was just walking through the street 2 seconds ago. The background.
Oh, I knew what you're talking about.
He's just.
Otherwise, it is kind of set up to where it could be like a 10 Little Indians kind of story, but at that point, you got to introduce. Okay, one of these people or two of these people are not who they claim they are, but they never even introduced the characters in a way do you really kind of understand anything about them anyway.
Right.
No, it didn't even come with a fucking booklet. It would have been nice to explain this shit like Planet of the Apes.
Didn't even get a slipcover.
No, that was like I when I got this and I'm like trying to watch it with this thing. I'm like, I can't watch it with this lady hosting it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why do they have her on the back saying
this is considered? Then I find out after the fact this is considered one of the worst horror movies ever made.
Oh well.
And not in a good bad way either, or a bad good way. I mean,
yeah, just bad way. All
just
around.
a bad, like a waste of your time, waste of like. I mean, at least they could have thrown. I wish I could be like, yeah, it's kind of goofy and funny, like some of the other shit I watch that's really wacky, but it's not even fun on that level, sadly.
Well, at least I know I don't have to pick it up, so I will not have to worry about seeing 1981's Scream.
At least I won't go like, hey, I'm going to see another Scream film before the original Screams. Oh, wait.
Don't bother. I don't even see how this thing got rated R.
It's like you said, there's no tits, no blood, no gore.
Nothing. This is like pure PG even back then. Like
I think they're like, I don't think kids should ever be subjected to this, so we'll just up the rating so kids can't get it, I guess. But then again,
I was just going to ask whether like a made-for-TV movie or something, because the way you described it is what it sounds like.
Honestly, I don't know if it has Dolby Vision on it or not. I'm not even sure if it has HDR.
I feel like some films are like released and they call themselves a film, but they're like other films kind of put into one, sort of edited in a way. It's like, hey, it's one film now.
It doesn't say on here. And I didn't really pay attention if it has HDR on it, to be honest with you. It might just be a straight 4K disc too. I mean, looks wise, considering it was shot on 16 millimeter and almost every single scene has some kind of transition into it. Like not a lot of and a lot of it's just in like straight shots. There's not a lot of the negative here to be seen because most of it's, inner positive from having all the transitions and shit in it. So like it doesn't look the greatest anyway, but I mean I guess it's the best the movie's ever gonna look. If you give a fuck.
I was gonna say, does it really matter though? Like, how
No,
bad it
like
is?
honestly, I'll be truthful. If they whatever money was wasted on scanning this film in 4K could have been spent on a much better movie.
Well, according to see where I saw it here, Tim Hayes said that
You don't see it though.
yeah, no, he said Code Red died and Dark Force took it over. So
Yeah, I don't know.
so
This
I
is
don't know,
like just horrible release. And the price I cannot get behind at all. Like honestly, like if I hadn't had this so long to where I couldn't have sent it back, I might have. Just said like something was wrong with it, or I'm pissed because it doesn't have half the shit that's promised on it. I could even think they could maybe take that as an excuse to send it back because yeah, I'm very disappointed in this disc.
yeah, I don't blame you. And to advertise stuff on the disc that's not even on it too, as well.
Oh, it even points that out on Amazon now. But I'm assuming that's what I'm saying. I'm assuming enough people complained and returned their discs,
Yeah,
or just complained and whatever. Because what are they going to do? But like 30 some bucks or whatever it was, yeah, ridiculous.
yeah, I don't blame you one bit. That just sounds like a waste. And I mean, if you're gonna deliver a shitty movie, at least give the special features to explain why it's so shitty, or something that sells.
Yeah, I mean, if
disc.
I could have watched like because this is kind of go along with the Joe Bob Briggs thing we were talking about, Rook.
Yeah,
Like I could have watched it with that. At least it could have been maybe fun, and she could have brought some trivia to the table and some humor and levity to it. But no, like it was a slog. 82 minutes, and it felt like fucking 3 hours.
that's bad, especially with an 82-minute movie like that, man. I couldn't sit through that.
What way
it's
am I
funny.
being picky, Tim? In the which way? Just to be clear.
It's funny because like in Deep in the Valley, as weird as that movie was, they had like naked commentary from like a random chick in the movie, and it was just like she gave nothing of value really, but it was like, hey, she just like said random facts about like the actors or the set like real quick. Like, hey, this was filmed here, and that guy's like that. All right, goes off screen again. But that
I was gonna
it
say, as
added
far as
something,
like,
but she was like naked, so it's like okay, whatever. That's like thank you.
yeah, there's not even any of that kind of fun in it. Like that's what I mean. It's not even fun in any way. Like I could totally forgive it if it was some kind of just Friday the 13th kind of ripoff.
Right.
If it had something going for it. I mean, the most I can tell you is if you like the movie, oh, nothing happens. Oh, well, nothing does happen, Tim. I'm not alone in this one.
I think you're right on target with this, man. I've never seen it, but
Like,
it sounds like right on target.
I wish I could be wrong because I wasted so much money on this movie, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I mean,
Before I see Halloween,
and, like I've seen it to where it's like even said in the one deal, like this is notoriously known as one of the worst horror movies ever made. And the reason that is because people who feel like it was advertised as a horror movie felt like they got gypped. Because it comes off like this Agatha Christie movie where none of the actual murders happen on screen outside of just seeing like blood on like a scythe and like I think a knife in one other scene. And you see a guy fall through the scene who's being hung. But that's all you see is just him falling through the scene. You don't see the actual hanging. You just see the rope dangling. Right? So like it's very
they do a more dark scene in Tarzan, I think.
That's what I mean. It's like he's trying to be all avant-garde and or safe for TV and or make this for an audience that it didn't get sold to. And that's what I'm saying here is like this is not the movie they're selling with this cover and all this business. I mean, the original title would have made more sense because if it would have sold me to that on that title, I would understand, oh, you're doing like an Agatha Christie ripoff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like then I could have got it, but at the end, it just felt like the end just fell apart at the end because you didn't give us anything. Because I can forgive a slog of a movie if you give me something to go on at the end. Because let's be clear, Friday the 13th, if you kind of step back and look at the movie, it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Nothing happens for 45 minutes in that movie.
Yeah, it's a lot of setup.
It's just a lot of kids just hanging around, chit-chatting, a snake gets killed, the cops show up. Just a bunch of fucking kids fucking around for about 45 minutes. Then the killings start to happen all in the last like 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the bodies start coming up, like last half hour or so, then the bodies start popping. Like most of the action is in the last half of the movie or last quarter of the movie or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie, like the stuff's happening throughout, but it doesn't happen on screen enough or you're not clear enough on what's happening, or you don't give a shit enough about any of these characters. And then they got already too many characters, and they add more to the mix when these two bikers show up, and the death character was kind of interesting, but they didn't do much with it. You know what I mean? Like, and it didn't really give us any kind of explanation. I don't expect the movie to always spoon feed me the information, but again, I'm not alone. I checked on this because after I watched it, I'm like, am I alone on it? Was this just a bad movie, or am I missing something? And every review I come across was saying the same shit I just did. I'm like, no, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. Okay.
Was there anybody that thought it was like a Scream prequel or originator or something? Like, wow.
Well, Scream, again, it wasn't even originally called that. This was clearly, again, and it was made for either they made this just to get bought. Whoever made the producer wise. Because you can tell it's safe enough for TV if a movie wants to pick it up for a made for TV movie, but it's also just salacious enough, or whatever you want to call it, with murders and stuff, to where you could call it something like Scream and make a fake poster like this to kind of sell what it is when it's not, and sell it to drive-ins.
Right.
Yeah.
Because as like an Agatha Christie movie, then you can sell it on TV like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
The murder mystery of the week. Kind of thing. And in movie theaters, that's what happened, is that it must have got picked up by some B distributor.
Yeah.
And again, I wouldn't know this because there's nothing to tell me any of this shit on this movie. The only reason I know that much is because that's about all there is out there about the movie, is that it was originally called that. And from that, I've extrapolated that whoever made this movie got the funding for it, because they probably made that opening credit sequence, showed that to a bunch of people, and got the money for it. That's my guess. And then when they got into making the movie, because that's the only other thing I could find out in like the trivia and stuff, is that there was no real working script for the movie. He had no fucking clue how the movie was.
That's what I said. Let's just make a movie.
They literally shot it scene for scene as they were going along. Like the director was literally just making it up as he went. I guess
we'll go here to go there. And you said it was originally titled "A Butcher,"
the Butcher, the Baker, and the Candlestick Maker.
Yeah, I think I know why they probably changed the name. You said that came out in 1981.
Yep.
Yeah, the movie Butcher, Baker, Nightmare Maker came out in 1981 too.
That could be another reason.
That sounds like a great title for a movie.
See, but that's what I'm saying, and I'm going off of the idea that that's how like Friday the 13th and a lot of these B-level horror movies got made. They would go off that whole like mentality of, here, we come up with a title and a poster first, we sell it to a bunch of investors, then we go make the movie for next to nothing and pocket the rest of the money.
Right. So, well, don't waste your money on Scream 1981, anyone. Don't do that.
It's not. The thing is, Joey, I wish I could say it was Neil Breen style. At least Neil Breen, you can find some weird. Oh, The Outing is another name for it. You're right, Tim Hayes. It did go under another name, which is also another thing they do with drive-ins. They'll put a movie with two different names on a movie so they can sell it twice.
Would you say Neil Breen's quality is better than this one?
He's at least entertaining in a bad way. You know what I mean? Like train wreck kind of way.
That's what I mean. You'd recommend Neil Breen over this, right? Like, I assume.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, definitely. But at least we now know we do not need to waste money on that at all. So I love it. I'm going to have to start clipping your rants and just make a Tom rant video one day.
The ranting of Tom.
Tom rants. All right. I guess no final words there. So we'll move on to me. And I watched my next movie because of you, Tom. I hadn't actually seen this movie in a while, but ever since you posted that one VHS thing selling
Debbie Does Dallas.
No, Idle Hands.
Oh,
yes.
Ever since you posted that on your Twitter thing, and I was like, I have not seen Idle Hands in years. So this is the Scream Shout Factory.
I have that one too. Yeah.
Yeah. I reversed the cover art because I don't.
Really of course. Who wants that other?
Yeah. The hand. That's horrible. That's what you want. But yeah, this is a fun movie, and I honestly forgot that it took place on Halloween. That's how long it's been since I've seen it. I mean, I love the movie, but I forgot it takes place on Halloween.
Yeah, that's why Jessica Alba was dressed as a sexy angel.
Yeah, that's
or whatever,
why she's dressed as a sexy
Yeah.
angel. Yeah, she's a great ass too.
Yes.
But it's
Oh,
still.
I
a
thought you
fun
meant
movie.
Devin Sawa. My bad.
He must work out.
Exactly.
But it's a good movie. It's a fun movie. I have not seen, like I said, I actually saw it in theaters, and I think the last time I saw the
I
movie,
don't remember if I did or not.
Was that 2001 or what year was that one?
It was like 90s, wasn't it?
99, I believe.
Yeah, I was gonna say late
99.
90s. I think maybe I did.
1999, yeah.
It was 98 or 99. The chances of me seeing them, that's why I don't remember that era so well, because I literally saw almost everything in the theater because my buddy that I was going to school with worked at the theater. So like once or twice a week we would go in and he would literally take like this big clear plastic garbage bag, fill it up with popcorn, and we bop from movie to movie to movie to movie all day long.
Nice.
So I saw like everything in that era, and so if it came out in that time period, I probably did see it in the theater. Yes.
Nice. Yeah. I did see it in theaters, and I think the last time I maybe saw it was I think I had the before the Blu-ray. I think I had the DVD, and then I hadn't watched the Blu-ray in a while, so it was a while. But it's still pretty freaking good and pretty solid, and pretty funny still too. It's for anybody who knows it's a play on the idle hands are the devil's playground, to where like Devin Sawa's character is the laziest kid there is, who just sits around and watches MTV and smokes pot all day. And so, the devil possesses a demon devil, whatever, possesses his hand. And there's like a killer going around, and comes to find out it's him. He's killing everybody. He, starts with his parents dying in the beginning of the movie. It comes to find out he killed his own parents, but he didn't know it because his hand's possessed. So his hand's like doing
Very
it all.
dark comedy. Yeah.
It's very dark. And he ends up killing his two best friends, played by Seth Green and the guy from the Daredevil TV series. And they come back as zombies because they decided they didn't want to walk all the way to heaven because it was too
There's
far.
a little bit of an American Werewolf in London in it, with like kind of a
like with the zombies.
there's a lot of stuff in there that clearly, they were having fun with it though.
Yeah, it's just so fun. It's surprisingly, for as dark it is, like even with the parents dying and him killing all these people and stuff, you're still rooting for this kid.
He's the hot chick across the street, Jessica Alba, is like for some reason interested in him. Like why? But okay,
he shows up all dirty and muddy and covered in blood, and she still thinks he's hot.
He's like trying to hide the evil hand behind him. He's like, hey, don't kill her! No, she's actually talking to me, man. Like,
and I believe that is like the first movie we all noticed Jessica Alba in. She became a crush to amongst a many.
If you didn't see her in Flipper show or whatever first, or like then you saw her in this probably.
This was well before her Dark Angel show, I believe.
Well, no, I'm saying she was in like a show called Flipper or something. It was like
the movie Flipper.
Like no. Like there's a TV show. There's a TV show where she like swims with dolphins or something. Chat, you guys probably know what I'm talking about. It might not have been called Flipper. It's something like that, where she and somebody else are like they like lifeguard with dolphins or whatever.
This was the first thing I ever seen her in.
Tom's like, you're lying. No, hold on.
I believe Alex Mack. What? Sadly, there are no boob shots in this movie, but she does get it in her underwear, and she had her butt cheeks hang out. So
yeah, this was in the era, and this is where I say like this bullshit about the modern PC era. It's like we already went through this crap. In the 90s, it was taboo to have any tits in fucking horror for a while there.
He actually rips off her outfit or whatever. Hey, you're trying to get high with your friends? Oh, unbelievable.
It's sad too because I saw
you start the 90s off. Like one of the last ones I can really, I'm sure there was a few after this, especially straight to video, but like one of the last ones I really remember in a big horror movie was Jason Goes to Hell. Was probably one of the last times. Yeah, with the shower sequence in the beginning, and after that, it's like Scream never had any. Nightmare never really had too many anyway. I would say New Nightmare didn't have any. You know. No,
kind of stopped after that, and
Chuck never notoriously had any, so whatever.
Yeah, I was just saying, I saw a thing today once again today, saying that Gen Z prefers to see movies without sex scenes and loving relationships. They prefer just platonic friendships.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Like, fucking seriously?
And Dan says she was in the Flipper TV show, so they must have done a
there you
revamp of it.
there
That I
you go.
didn't
I
know.
didn't know
It was in 1995, I think, was the show.
Oh, okay. I was not aware of that. I know they did a movie around that period with
with Elijah Wood.
and Paul Hogan.
Paul Hogan, yeah.
Yeah, 1995, 4 seasons. This was
Really?
like this must have been before
No
or during
idea.
Idle Hands or something.
I mean, I knew she was in. If you remember on Nickelodeon, there was a TV show called "The Secret Life of a Secret World of Alex Mack" or something.
Yes,
I
Something
knew
like
she was.
that.
I knew she was
Like
on that, and she's
Yeah.
in the movie Camp Nowhere.
she was in some like extra type of things.
Oh yeah,
In
she
the
was in
background.
that shit
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's
But
in
like-
some odd. Yeah,
that was the
Good.
first movie I noticed her in, and holy shit, we got a celebrity in the chat. Bill Russell, what is up, Bill? Glad to have you. Just so you guys know, Bill Russell, he was in Dr. Death on Full Moon. He's in the movie. He's an actor. He's also the dad in the famous Blockbuster commercial. So he does a lot of work.
Nice.
He's been working with some amazing people here
I've
lately.
seen the Dr. Death movie. Yeah.
Yes, he's the guy in the very beginning of the movie that dies, that releases Dr. Death. His death is
Sweet.
yeah.
whoa,
Yeah. What's up, Bill? Glad to see you there.
awesome. That's cool,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, but Idle Hands is a great movie. Vivica A. Fox is great in it. Devin Sawa was great in it. It's like we talked about last time because I brought up. Yeah, Seth Green is hilarious, and I love how Seth Green goes from like when you first introduce him and Penub, the other guy, they like seem really stupid, and then when he becomes a zombie, he actually seems like he's the level-headed of the whole group.
Right.
Like even when he's like when his friend's making out with the chick and his head's almost coming off, and he's like, "Oh God, no, stop! That's illegal." It's like he becomes the voice of reason after he dies. He becomes smarter. So
Yeah, it's clarity and enlightenment.
yeah, he becomes with clarity and enlightenment. But it's fun. It's like them saying because like with that Idle Hands and Final Destination, I really do think Seven Saul was trying to change his image and everything because a lot of us know him from Casper and stuff like that. So, but it's got some
Going from the teen heartthrob,
the teen heartthrob, yeah. And one of my favorite things was watching this because they put the alternate ending on the special features because I watched special features. It has an alternate ending.
Oh, I haven't seen those yet. Yeah.
Oh, you got to see it. It's actually
I
pretty
didn't know
good.
they had one.
I actually have not watched it yet. I have it still in plastic.
I think I'll get the Blu-ray of that. Then is that what that
Yeah.
was? You had the copy you
Yeah,
had
the
of Blu-ray?
Blu-ray. It's the you better. It's
Sadly, you
should've got
probably just missed. I was gonna say you probably just missed their.
been on
October
sale for Screen
I-
Factory sale. It might actually still be.
I
on
got
sale.
my own issues with Shout Factory right now. I'm not going to get
Well,
into.
I will
it.
upgrade regardless because that sounds cool. They got some extra stuff on there.
Oh, Amazon might have it on sale because I know they were having a Shout Factory sale too. So,
Ooh, okay.
yeah, let me check for you real quick. But no, it's got the alternate ending on it, and it's the same alternate ending, same special feature they created for the DVD. So it's actually still on sale. All right,
Yeah.
if you want to get it, it's $17.99 right now on Amazon. After that, it goes back up to $30. So
Oof. Okay. Damn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it for
But
double the
it's-
price.
yeah, it's great because it's the original DVD special features of the alternate ending with the director, and I love it because it's how we talk about how we don't get special features. It's like first it shows the director and he's like, one of the great things about these handy dandy new DVDs and the special features is we can tell you things that went on behind the scenes and show you this. I'm like, I miss special features like this,
Yes.
and then he introduces and he explains why they cut the ending. He said, because if you watch the original ending of the movie, after they killed, they stab the hand and it explodes on Seth Green's chest. Well, it just kind of vaporizes. Seth Green goes, that's it. No explosions, no nothing. The director's like, well, we actually did have explosions and stuff. And we decided, and we shot the whole ending but we decided to change it because it didn't fit. They felt like it didn't fit the comedy of the movie and honestly, it's not really that bad of an ending. I kind of like it.
Yeah, that's a good like pace-wise ending as well. Like, okay, it's done. It's poop. It's done.
The alternate ending really isn't that bad. I kind of like it. And he's like, so here's the whole alternate ending. We scored it the best we could.
How long is the alternate ending?
It's just a little bit longer. It's like what it is it takes place right after her friend gets sucked up into the fan and hung and chopped up.
Yeah.
The hand takes her into the swimming pool at the school, and then
just dive in the pool now. Okay.
yeah, they she don't get her clothes ripped off in this one. So,
Okay.
but like Devin Sawa, Vivica Fox, and his neighbor, they show up to the swimming pool, and like the hand is going to drag her to hell, and the pool opens up and turns into the fiery pit of hell. It's like fire, a giant hole, and she's hanging on to the diving board, and he's trying to
How
save
is it
her.
carrying her? Is it swimming? Like it's somehow swimming? Like
It just like knocks her out, and then when she wakes up, she's on the diving board, and it's like walking across the
okay, of
diving
course,
board.
right. I
And
got
she
you.
she backs up and falls and hangs
I'm
on
like,
to the tip of
is the
it.
guy like it's holding on with its thumb and then swimming with its pinky finger?
No, he's like walking on the diving board, and she like backs up and falls down, and she's holding on to the diving board, and then the pool turns into the gates of hell, and so stuff like that. I don't want to exploit all of it, especially for those who haven't seen it.
Yeah,
but that's as far as I'm going to go. But I actually didn't mind an alternate ending, but I also, at the same time, I think the ending they went with is great. So, but yeah, if you've never seen it, it's great. It's this great alternate ending. But the movie is great. I love the movie. It's a great Halloween watch. You get to see the lead singer of Offspring get his head ripped open. So that's cool.
It's a fun premise of like, instead of just he gets possessed, no, his hand gets possessed. Also,
just his hand.
When he cuts off his hand, the hand is still possessed and trying to kill people. So it's
that's
like
very much in the same vein as like the
great.
Army of the Evil Dead, Dead Part 2.
Let's say it's like that to me is a great. That's like a great type of way of thinking, I guess, because in my head, like initially, I go, okay, well the problem's done, right? It's like, well, no, how about it? Is it done? And then actually that leads for other things to be able to happen. And it's like, oh, okay. And then, something else happens. And it's like that. It's so creative. I love that kind of like mindset instead of just like giving it up, right. Oh, you just need to get the MacGuffin thing or something and that's done. It's like, no, how about you make it kind of fun? It doesn't fully get him, gets him a little bit. And he's got the antics alone with him trying to hide his hand. And then he decides to cut it off. It's like, that's a good decisions. I like that. Even though it's a comedy, it's like, that's like some smart type of stuff. So
it's like Tom said, it's clearly taking stuff from like American Werewolf in London, Evil Dead Part 2, and some other horror movies, and like throwing it in with its own brand of comedy. So it's like, once again, Rook, if you would have seen the classics, you would catch these references.
I've seen Evil Dead 2. Okay, I've seen Evil Dead 2, and I've seen the third one in that, or the
Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness. I keep on.
It's a little more Evil Dead 2 than Army of Darkness, but it's a fun movie. I have not seen that. But if you want to pick it up, I'd get it. And are you sure, Victor? Because I just went on Amazon and I saw they still have a bunch of shout sell, a bunch of
104. Jeez.
I just saw. I just saw the
4K instead of the Blu-ray or DVD or something.
What are you talking about? He's talking about the Halloween movies.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was talking about Halloween. I didn't see the Halloween. Okay, there you go. I don't have my glasses on.
I mean, I just checked. They still got sales going on. Let me see here. Maybe the Halloween movie are gone, but you can get They Live for $10.99 on Blu-ray. You can get Creepshow on Blu-ray for $22.99. That's a good deal. You can get the Idle Hands for $17.99. John Carpenter's Vampires for $18.99. Those are pretty good deals because those are usually like $25, $30. So I'd say go for it. But Idle Hands, great movie, great Halloween watch, great comedy. So check it out. To you, Rookie, bring us something we can talk about.
You guys have definitely seen The Faculty, right?
Faculty. Yes.
Okay.
Long ass time ago, but yeah.
Yeah, well, same here. I haven't seen it for a while either, but I remember this one pretty good. It's one of those ones that stuck with me a bit for a while. It's, freaking brain control alien. Were they worms or like fish things? I remember they get into their ears and they can like get in their skin a little bit. They love water and is it salt that they use against them as the weapon?
It's the smack stuff that he makes.
Right. Yeah. I know. I remember they were like snorting it.
It dries them out.
Stuff.
They need water. It's basically The Thing meets Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this one was good. I remember seeing this when I was younger, and being kind of a creepy premise, but also fun to watch. Like, it was just one of those ones where I was like, oh wow, that's so cool, but then also wow, it's so creepy. I remember when they're at the gym and they send the one guy out. I forget why he left the gym, but he comes back pretty quickly. He's like, oh, let me in. They're like, no, you got to snort it. It's our last one. He's like, no, come on. He pours it out, and it's like, just like, yeah, I am now evil. And then I remember the queen, and they're trying to like find the queen alien thing, and it's like a giant bug from something.
Now there is boobs in that one because the chick that is the alien walks around buck ass naked for the whole last half of the movie before she turns to the giant creature thing that it is.
Yes,
but that was actually pretty rare for that time to have, and that was written by Kevin Williamson, who wrote what? What did he write?
The Scream.
There you go.
Yes, it says it on the back, so I was able to cheat. So, but it's a good body snatcher one. And the thing, I know you guys will be surprised to see this, but that was like the thing. I've seen it, okay, and that was like the horror film that gave me like the, okay, I'm gonna check out horror films, give them more of a try. So I love The Thing. So The Faculty is like one of those ones. Also, it's not just like the body snatching, but it's like like seeing trying to figure out who was what. Was there a hint in the film where you as the audience member can kind of guess who it was if you haven't seen it before? But it's like one of those ones where you usually don't. It's like, I don't know if anybody on the first watch follows that, or if they could. And it's like always a second watching, you got to do it. So you're watching it different the second time. I love that kind of film. I can do that.
I think for the most part it is pretty obvious, other than the blonde who turns out to be the
queen with the
queen. Most everybody else you guess right away who it is and what's going on.
Or some of them they act a little different, or they're drinking a little more water or something.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a little fishy.
It plays very well. It is very good. More Invasion Body Snatchers than The Thing, but it's sort of The Thing-esque. But yeah, it does very well, and it does it really gets you, like, you don't expect her to be the queen, the Thing at the end. You kind of have your suspicions on her, but then when it happens, you're kind of like, But it's a good, pretty good 90s movie. I think it was 90s, wasn't it? Still 90s?
I want to say 90s or early 2000s. It was after Lord of the Rings, though. So
yeah,
probably after. It's probably the early 2000s.
It's got to be. It's got to be 90. I'm thinking it's 90s.
I mean, on the back it says including Elijah Wood, Lord of the Rings.
1998 is when it was made. Oh no, that's just like that's the Blu-ray they put out. So after they put it out, once the Lord of the Rings became famous, they put that on there.
Oh, so, okay. In my head,
that was not Lord of the Rings. So
in my head, whenever they have the thing on the back, that's like from the original, like that was the original release, like back description or something. But
no,
I see what you mean. They'd put that on afterward to make it sound even cooler,
to sell the movie a little bit to people who've never seen it.
Which is weird, because was this movie like not well liked or like not that popular back in the day? I mean,
once again, it's the Scream effect, like we've talked about. Is like
it was a Scream clone in that era.
Yeah, it's a lot, especially since it was Kevin. A lot of movies after Scream came out kind of were just Scream. They tried to do the cast, the poster art, very similar. This is one of the more well received ones because it is a bit different with the aliens, and so it's gained a little more of a cult following now. But no, it wasn't hugely successful when it first came out.
How is it like Scream, I guess, other than trying to guess?
It's just the whole, like, the way that it's, when we say it's like Scream, it's like they try to copy the formula of the same type of art.
You're not sure who you can trust,
same type of kids in the same type of situation.
Like, look at the cover.
Yeah, look at the cover, like the cover artwork and the dialogue and the way they interact with each other.
Having hip kids with the emo kind of music and just the way the cover's presented, and just the way that the style of movie it was. It was probably, like Greg said, one of the more different ones, especially since Williamson had something to do with it. But it was just one of those movies in that era that, like, disturbing behavior, killing Miss Tingle, or teaching Miss Tingle, whatever they ended up calling it. There was a bunch of them all in that same era that just kind of had the Scream effect going on.
And it's not like
you're good.
I was gonna say, it's not like they're bad movies, but Scream did have an effect that kind of hurt horror movies for quite some time.
I guess I kind of know what you mean.
The problem was it broke the rules, but then every movie after that didn't learn from those rules.
Right.
I'm assuming
that's making the same mistakes.
Yeah. The modern equivalent being, like, after the Avengers, every franchise is trying to fuse their universe together and doing it.
Kinda. That's a pretty good, and how none of them have been able to really successfully do it since. Yeah.
Where it's like not a bad idea on its own, but all these ones are doing it's having an effect on the audience watching it currently. Maybe in some time from now it'll
Yeah.
be seen a little different, but
Yeah.
in the current time, it's eye rolly annoying.
But this one had it had Kevin Williamson behind it. It had Robert Rodriguez behind it, and it's got an amazing cast. It's got Selma Hayek. It's got Elijah Wood. It's got Josh Hart in it. It's got what's his name from the Terminator 2.
That's what I'm thinking of. I want Robert. It's what I want to
Robert
say.
Patrick.
Something.
Robert Patrick's in it.
Yeah, Patrick.
It's got a great cast. And it's funny. It's a little more sci-fi, which I like. So it's one of the better of the Scream clones. A lot of people actually call this. I've seen articles where people wrote it, says it's the best Scream sequel that nobody talks about.
I have to rewatch it again, I guess, because I just from what I remember, the only thing I could really relate it to is that there's like a mystery of you don't know who you can trust, sort of, with these teenagers. That's about it. Like you're not sure who it is or who's the killer. Essentially, I like that. These are, I like that movie too. It's a good movie. I do like that. I do like it. Would you say it's more of a cult classic now, or it's like I would say it's more of a cult classic movie than some of the others. Like it wasn't received as well initially, but it is still pretty good and does have a. I mean, I guess if you ask most people say they like it, right? I mean, yeah, most people say. People say they don't like it. But I guess it's not the same energy as like Tremors or something, where it's like, yes, the faculty's like, yeah, it's a movie. Yeah, it's all right. It's a cult movie. Like it's found its audience over the years, so it works. It works. And I did forget about the Species movies that come out. The Species movies are loaded with boobs. I forgot about those. So, that whole thing was like sexual alien. Like that's the premise, and it's all right. Yeah. That's the thing. In the 90s, that's when the boobs started to die out. People were like, do we really need to see that anymore? Especially near the end of the 90s. And now it's continued even worse to today. Oh, don't get me started. But anyways, I do like The Faculty. I do think it's a good movie. It is one of the better ones from the 90s to come out. But I do like it. Were you a fan of it, Tom?
I don't really remember it enough. Like all I really remember is it was kind of like a body snatcher kind of movie. I didn't think it was great, but it was all right kind of thing. Yeah, but I agree. It was probably one of the better ones, I suppose.
I gotcha. Yeah, it's interesting because it's like people will probably kill me in the chat. I saw The Faculty way before I saw The Thing, but I love The Thing. The Thing is way better. Okay, The Thing is like my favorite. That's just your speed, man. You see all these movies before you see the classics. So I'm going in reverse, but I'm getting there. Okay, I've got goals. You're doing good. You're doing good. You guys will like my next pick. I'm sure. I'm sure. Cool.
Bronson, I'm gonna have to say I like Renfield better than Vampire's Kiss. Vampire's Kiss is just a really bad movie. I mean, you can have fun with it, especially with Nicolas Cage walking around with fake vampire teeth thinking he's a vampire. But Renfield is such a better movie than Vampire's Kiss. But great question. But Tom, anything else you want to say, Rook, before we go to Tom?
Nope, we're good. Your turn, Timothy.
All right, Tom, what do you have? Have you decided how you're going to do this?
Yeah, I mean, technically, I guess, I suppose. Let's do it this way. It creeps, it sweeps, it bleeps and beeps and freeps and creeps. It's the Blob.
Blob. Yes. I love that movie.
The original Criterion Collection from a 4K master, although it's on regular Blu-ray. Yeah, still looks pretty darn good.
It does.
And the only problem is the fifth reel, I guess they couldn't find, or the negative was damaged too bad, and you can tell when they flip over to it, but it's just like it's not the last, but the next to last, like 15 minutes ish of the movie or 10 minutes of the movie. But no, it looks good, sounds okay. My only complaint is there's like no special features. I cannot believe there's no real special features on here.
I know.
It's really slim pickings, and it's like the Criterion Collection. Are you sure?
Yeah.
There hasn't been how many documentaries probably made about this, or you couldn't have made a few new special features where I'm sure at least even the talking head like tell why they love the film or anything like that.
You even get like a Turner Classic Movie guy coming on
there.
Yeah,
or something like that. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like something to that effect. Even I mean, just something. But I mean, no. Other than that, I can't recommend as far as like if you can find it cheap, definitely, but don't pay more than like $20 for it. But other than that, it looks really, 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 really good. It's a great film, fun film.
Mhm.
Even though you could tell they didn't have much of a budget to work with, it's kind of an imaginative idea considering the absurdity of it. And I guess that's kind of played on a little bit more in the sequel, which we may talk about in a minute. But yeah, no, the original film is pretty simple. The only big mistake it makes is it gets going really good. Like the first few minutes, first 20 minutes, maybe if that 15 minutes of the movie
Mhm.
really gets rolling, kicks it along, a lot going on. Get to know Steve McQueen's character pretty well. And then it meanders for a while. Like for like a half hour almost. Like it takes forever for the movie to kind of just it hits a speed bump. And there's just a lot of these scenes that I probably would have cut out if I was a director. I mean, the movies are 82 minutes. I mean, you could have even trimmed it a little bit more than that. But I mean, and it's just a minor gripe. It's just the characters start repeating some stuff, and this whole little subplot of the teenagers getting picked up by the cops, and then they get break out of their rooms and all this stuff and meet up, and they just sit there and talk for like the longest time. It's like, do something.
I would say in the 80s Blob at the beginning, I think it's great pace throughout the whole thing. Actually, like there's a little bit of stuff that I don't know. It takes like a half an hour for it to maybe fully get in gear, but I don't to.
Like basically, you're not wrong, and we'll probably talk about this a little bit more in a bit. But like the remake, where this movie's third act begins, that's where the second act begins in the remake, right? Like they move shit a little faster along, move it up a little bit more, but they also add more to the third act, right? Where this is more straightforward, really kind of simple. I love how they kind of slowly discover how to stop the blob, and for a bit there, it almost feels like they're not going to get away from this thing, and it kind of makes something that's almost just kind of weird seem plausible, especially at this time when we had the Red Scare and the Cold War going on and whatnot, and just this idea that what if something come from like a biological weapon. It was kind of more of I'm sure an allegory for that than actual alien.
So you can't shoot it, you can't blow it up, you can't like what can beat this thing? Like what kills this? It just gets you, right?
Yeah.
And not only that, it leaves no traces, right? Like that's the thing, is nobody believes the kids, basically,
or they just disappear essentially. So it's like there's no body, there's no proof. So what is that? Yeah, it is a very creepy concept. Is it the same type of concept in that film as it is with the remake, where it's like reverse created by men or not?
Yes, but we'll get to that I think more so when we get to the remake, because I mean they did a sequel in the 70s, which is weird because it is pretty much a remake of the original again, only it's played much more for laughs. And this one takes a long time to get going, but once it gets going, it's really just a straight remake of the movie, although it is a sequel. The weird part about it is just how it begins. I guess you can consider it a sequel. Otherwise, it could have just been a remake at the end of the day, like beat for beat remake. Really, they just replace the diner at the end with a hockey or a skating rink, basically. That's like the big change. But as far as the sequel goes, if you can get it for cheap, I guess I could recommend it. It's got a weird cast.
This was because what's his name? It's not what's his name? Dick Sargent. Is that who it is? No, not Dick Sargent.
No, Larry Hagman. I think you're
Larry Hagman. Yeah, that's who I was thinking of. Larry Hagman. He was given a movie picture deal, and he was like, "I'm going to do Beware of the Blob" or something like that. Is why he did it.
He chose it. Dallas and all that stuff, if I remember right.
Yeah,
because he's in the one scene with Burgess Meredith and I can't remember who else is in, but Sid Haig is in it too.
Oh yeah,
and Carol Linney's in it. Dick Van Patten's in it. I mean, it's got all these little kind of weird cameos. It kind of almost feels like it's a TV movie in a weird way, but there's some gruesome shit in it too at the same time. Like it's kind of an odd movie, but it was re-released in the 80s with the tagline "The film that shot JR."
Yeah,
Although he's
because
literally like in the movie for like 2 seconds. I don't even think he has any lines.
he
I
directed the
didn't even know it
movie.
was him. Huh?
He directed it.
Oh, did
Larry
he?
Hag yeah, that's what I was saying, like,
Oh,
they
I
offered him to
I
direct the
didn't even
movie, and he
realize it says
directed it.
here. Yeah, Larry Hagman. I never even noticed that because they put Jack A. Harris's name all over everything in this thing.
Yeah.
So, because I don't even know who that is, because he's not even the guy that had anything to do with the original. So like yeah, as far as a little like kind of just weird oddity, I guess is the best I can recommend it. But overall, it's kind of a very poor remake of the original at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as good as the first movie. The first movie, if I remember, was the most successful drive-in B movie ever
Yeah, I think
made, I
so.
believe.
Well, and it feels like it's a little bit above and beyond a lot of the stuff. I mean, I would almost say it's much better than things that were probably more well regarded, like Invaders from Mars and such at that time period.
Mhm.
Like, it's a pretty tight movie. Like, even if you just tightened up that middle bit where they're just kind of meandering, going, "Oh, what should we do?" and all that kind of crap, like, then it would be almost perfect. Like, because it's a really well done story, like, really kind of clips along. Once you get to that last part, there's a real sense of urgency. And for the time period, I mean, like I said, if you going into it, you really kind of feel like, oh man, these guys might not get out of this situation, and the blob's going to get them because they don't know how to stop the blob, right? You
Mhm.
know, until they figure it out. So like, it's a really well done film, and the sequel remake buquel thingy, not so much Beware the Blob or Son of the Blob, it's as it was known originally, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was called The Son of Blob, wasn't it? Yeah. Uh, well, like I said, I have the
Which is
Criterion.
dumb because they kind of insinuate it is the same blob. Because just for those who don't know, they spoilers, they end the first movie by dumping the blob up on the Arctic Circle. They're like,
Yeah.
someday it could come back. And yeah, so this guy who's in the movie in the beginning of the second one, it's just a weird how it kind of pans out because the actor, it's some comedian, I can't remember his name. I think it's Robert Walker Jr. or some shit like that. He works for some company that found pieces of the blob and didn't realize what it was and brought it home. And it thaws out and gets out and starts all over again, basically. Yeah.
Was there the sequel to the 80s one?
No.
Because I was gonna say that one
No,
sets
it's
it up in a
actually
way
due for a
that
remake, actually, but I don't know if I don't want to see one now because it'd be all CGI.
oh no, I
Yeah.
agree.
And
At one point in time, go ahead.
I was gonna say because I still need two. How many more picks do we need? 2 or 3?
I have
I've
two
got
left,
two
but I
more.
can make.
I've got two left.
I have 2 left, but I can
Okay,
make
well,
it
if
3
we're gonna
more.
do it, oh no, if it's 2, you got 2 and you got 2.
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, okay, so never mind. We'll do it that way. So yeah, no, we'll hold off and we'll talk maybe about the blob when I come back around again some more. But no, the only unfortunate part is I can't recommend the disc as far as special features, but as far as presentation, it's really good. So if you can find it like cheaper than $20 or $20 range, it's probably worth it. But more than that, I can't. And I just can't believe they haven't got a 4K version of this yet. Because I
I'm
think this
surprised they
Blu-ray,
haven't. Yeah.
I think this Blu-ray is a little older now.
And you would think with the 4K master that we would be getting, because we're still supposed to be getting Invasion of the Body Snatchers on the original on 4K too from
Oh, yeah?
Criterion. So, or was that Criterion or somebody else? I think it was Criterion.
I'm
But
not sure.
yeah, but no. Speaking of the remake of the Blob, that a while back it was rumored that Samuel L. Jackson was going to be remaking the Blob. He was the star for a remake of the Blob, and like 2000 and I want to say 2017, maybe. I don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't have a year on this. I'm trying to remember what year this came out. I know I've had it for a little while.
So
Oh, 2013. So yeah, holy shit. This is way due for a
wow.
new release.
All right. Well,
I'm surprised they did a 4K scan that far back and we still haven't gotten a release.
yeah,
of
I
it.
know. You would think that would. Anyways, Criterion, love them, hate them. Sometimes they do great, sometimes they don't.
Well, it just makes me wonder maybe if the rights are sitting in a weird limbo or something. Who knows? Because I don't know who owns the movie. I mean, I think it has. I think Paramount's is the distributor, but I doubt they own it now. So I'm trying to find it here. I don't see any other company on here except for Criterion, so I can't tell.
Joey says the Blob, it's just big boned. Hello.
All right, what you got, Greg?
Okay. Speaking of which, sort of keeping in the same vein as The Blob, a movie in '80s that's sort of similar. Well, I wouldn't say similar, but it's got the B movie sci-fi feel to it, and that is I always forget the camera there. Night of the
Oh, I
Creeps.
almost watched that this week too, and I decided not to.
I watched it. I love this freaking movie. I love Tom Atkins in this movie. But of course I did that, and this comes with the theatrical cut and the director's cut right there for both movies. If you've never seen this movie, this is a great movie. This is made by Fred Decker, the guy who made Monster Squad. This was his first movie. There's actually a thing from the Monster Squad. You know, he got the Monster Squad while making this movie. So if you look in one scene when the one kid is being attacked by the slugs in the bathroom, it says Monster Squad on the wall. So you got the Monster Squad there. But this is a great movie. Tom Atkins kicks ass in this movie. This movie starts off with there's these aliens in space, and there's little aliens. They're chasing this one alien who's carrying this tube of something, and they're saying we can't let the experiment we can't let the experiment get free and everything. And the little alien shutters it out to space, and it lands on Earth in 1957, I believe. And it's very much a B movie. This is very much in the same vein as The Blob and everything, because it starts off when the thing lands on Earth. It's 1957. The movie starts off in black and white once it gets to that point. It's got the whole like little vibe to it, the music and everything. And there's like an axe murderer on the loose as well too. It's very drive-in B movie sci-fi stuff. And like the slugs come out, get a guy, then we jump fast forward to 1987 or 88. I can't remember. It was around 87 or 88 or whatever. And these two kids the two nerdy kids to try to impress a girl, try to join a frat, and the frats want them to steal a body from the morgue and put it on the lawn of another fraternity. And they go to the morgue part of the school, and they find the frozen body of the guy from the 50s, and they accidentally unthaw him, and he gets free. And he's full of these little slugs that possess, once they get inside your body, they kind of make you into zombies. And then you have Tom Atkins, who plays this detective who was in the 50s. In the beginning, his girlfriend dumped him and went with the guy that got possessed. And so like he's just like this hard-boiled, no nonsense, like don't give a shit cop, and he gets involved with this, and him and the kids team up and everything. It's a great 80s sci-fi movie. If you like the Blob, it's the 80s Blob. If you like The Thing, this is very much in the vein of those movies. It's a sci-fi 50s, 80s B movie. It's a little more on the goofier side. So, it's not like as serious taken as like The Blob and The Thing, but it's very much in the same vein of that. And it's just a great, great movie. I love this movie. And as far as like the director's cut versus the theatrical cut, the only differences in the director's cut compared to the theatrical cut is the last, like, what do I say? Like the last 10 to 15 minutes, maybe, of the movie. It's got a bit of a different ending. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who's never seen it. It's got, they changed the ending slightly, and the aliens making another appearance at the end of the movie, which is not an original. So that's really the only big difference in the director. I would say the theatrical cut's better. The theatrical cut's better. I like the ending on the theatrical cut. It kind of leaves you with a oh my gosh moment. But it's weird because the director's cut ending, it sucks with what happens to a certain character, but it also leaves you with a little bit more of a happier ending than the oh my god moment that they give you at the theatrical cut. But I think the theatrical cut is better, in my opinion. But I'm glad to have both. That's why I love physical media, because I have both on disc. So I don't know if it's streaming or not, but either way, I got them both. So
Sweet. It sounds like you lined that up to recommend to me specifically with this, with the Thing and Blob referencing here. Yes.
If you love those movies, you'll definitely love. But it's not as serious. It's a lot more cheesier and B movie-esque because it is just they're straight up ripping a B movie. It even Tom Atkins, when he comes out and he's investigating where the cryogenic body was taken, he's like, sounds like some bad B movies from the 50s. And that's literally what you're watching, because the 80s had a fascination with like all the kids that grew up in the 50s, much like John Carpenter and them. They really loved the Westerns and the sci-fi movies from the B movies from the 50s. So in the 80s, when they were making their movies, they tried to copy that. That's why we got like The Thing and The Fly and The Blob and movies that harken back to a lot of the 50s stuff, but with the 80s feel to it. So, but yeah, if you've never seen Night of the Creeps, I do recommend it. It is just a fun fucking movie of zombies, slugs. Even the movie, James Gunn's movie, The Slither, if you've ever seen that, is pretty much based off of this movie. So,
okay,
yeah.
damn.
So, like, right as I said it, Joey brings it up. Yeah, it's sort of a semi remake of this movie. But not, I mean, it's very different. The James Gunn Slither is, but it's very much like you can say, oh, you watched Night of the Creeps, and that's what inspired this movie. Guaranteed it. So,
Okay, well, good thing I have not seen Slither yet, so I'll make sure that before I ever see Slither, I will see Night of the Creeps.
Oh, Slither is a good movie too.
But you got me wanting to see it, especially it's like The Thing or The Blob. You know, yeah, those are
it's
ones
very
I
much
love. So yeah,
it's very much in the same vein. But I got to tell you, it's college kids. There is
I know
it's
probably got some stuff that I'm not as for, but you know,
yeah.
I can find some joy.
And The Blob are better movies, but
yeah. I mean, I showed you The Cook tonight. I mean, that's definitely not my wheelhouse of film, but you know, I've seen it, so
and I would have.
But yeah, the Night of the Creeps. Okay, yeah,
Night of the Creeps is good. Here. It's good. But like you said, the theatrical cut and the director's cut, they're both great to have. There's just only a few, like 10 to 15 minutes difference of the ending of the director's cut.
If you can only see one, like if you're recommending to somebody, which one?
I would watch the theatrical cut first.
Theatrical cut, okay.
Yeah, and the director's cut, you could really, all you have to do is fast forward to a certain part, and that's where everything's different. Like you could,
if you want to see more, yeah.
It's literally the same movie up to a certain part in the movie, and then then the ending changes. So, yeah,
right.
But Tom, have you ever seen Night of the Creeps, or would it be your first time watching it once you see it?
This one is even farther back than whatchamacallit, when we just talked about here a little bit ago.
The Blob. The Faculty.
Yeah. This one I watched way back when. Probably on cable or whatever, but yeah.
Way back in the olden times where we'd get a whole magazine that told us what was on TV.
Pretty much.
It's a great movie. But yeah, I had to watch it this week. It was like, it was sitting there, I was like, I want to watch Night of the Creeps, because freaking just Tom Atkins makes the movie. Straight up makes the movie. So yeah. But Rook, next to you, what do you got?
All right. Well, we already mentioned it briefly earlier, but one of the movies that I went and bought recently to add to my collection is the Species movies. The whole collection, the whole series collection there, all 4 suckers. This was another one that I found on Netflix. Sorry, but you know, without having known what it was one of those ones I was on, and it was really cool, and I was really into space stuff and aliens and stuff. So I was like, dude, this is freaking awesome as well, and horrific, interesting.
The first 2 are great. After that, not so much.
Yeah, I remember the first 2, or the first one more specifically, but I remember some of the second one far more vividly, I guess, with it. They stuck a lot more. The other ones, I was like, what are they doing? Okay. I mean, it's not bad, but it's like, I don't know.
First 2 were actual theatrical movies that were released in the theaters, and the rest of them were like straight to Sci-Fi Channel movies.
Of course they were, I guess. But I don't know. Me not growing, I didn't know. No idea. But the first one I remember I liked because it asked like some questions with her. You know, she wasn't just a straight up, I'm going to just try to kill everything and stuff. She's like trying to figure out mankind a bit. Like I remember she's like got a chick she's like sleeping next to, and she's like, you know, do you dream or something? She's like, what are dreams with it? I mean, I think the movie could have been more in depth with some of these things, but that's not what it was going for. Of course, this was First Species was 90s, right? That was mid 90s.
I think it was in the 90s. Yeah,
I want to say Yeah, so they're going for, they have like a team trying to track her down, and she's getting away from
Yeah,
them.
95.
I forget, was the team like specialized team, or because they weren't like Marines, they were just like
They were
they
like
seemed like
scientists and stuff, and
it
one
seemed
of
like
them
a
was a
TV
cop.
show. It seemed like a TV show team that would be like, we got the scientist here, we've got the one guy here that works with the FBI, the one person that's in this thing and that has this other trait as well, or like these few, like this crack team is gonna get him, and they had the Forrest Whitaker, I think, was on the team, and
Yeah, Forrest
who else
Whitaker.
is on that team? God, don't remember the cast enough to get them on memory, but just some good stuff. I remember she like cuts her finger off and just like kind of regrows back, but she was like kind of baffled by that. She's trying to have sex with everybody and like
she just wants to mate,
basically.
Man. She just wants to mate.
Her whole goal is to mate, essentially. Yeah, and then in the second one, they. No, in the first one, she starts out as a little girl that escapes the lab, I think, and then you're like, oh, it's an innocent little girl, but then she like can like kill the lady and make an egg sack or something, and she pop out of that. I could be totally fudging the order of the films with that.
I haven't seen the Species movies in a long time, so I can't. It's
then there's like
one.
There's like I think the second one. There's an astronaut that comes back and he's like acting all weird, and then she tries to mate with him. They're trying to do it like as long as she doesn't see any males, then she'll be okay. So they have all like women scientists around her, and then all of a sudden there's male dudes all around, and she starts behaving a little different, and then they like make this like super alien, I think. Chat, if I'm getting the movies mixed up, let me know, because I could be getting them confused with each other.
It's been a long time. I can't remember the first two Species.
Yeah, I just remember
very long time.
The first one was like a chase movie. Like they're trying to get her. She's trying to get away from them, and we're seeing it like that essentially. But yeah, she's like an alien hybrid thing that can turn into a hot chick. And,
yeah, naked, shows her tits a lot. So Natasha Henstridge.
Like I want there to be more of the conceptual stuff in it as well, but I get what time they're going for with it. But still.
They're good movies. I do like the first two movies, and the other ones are crap. I didn't even bother with the rest of them because it's once you see the third one and they're like, yeah, I'm not sci-fi movies. But that's pretty cool. You got all of them. I think they just released all of them on I want to say Blu-ray, possibly 4K from some label. I can't remember. But I think maybe it was the first.
I did the first one in 4K. I know
yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't own it yet. I haven't seen the original in a while. It's not one of my favorites. It's okay.
Yeah,
I just remember liking it a lot. At least the first and second one as well. It's like, okay, she'll just get the whole.
First one's pretty good, but after that, I can't remember any of them.
Yeah, I feel like the next ones turn into the bad. Like I remember them as being, they're the ones that just get bad because there's more of them. As far as the films go, it's like the way you explained it, they pretty much became direct to video or TV or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh well, okay,
honestly,
well that kind of explains it.
The first one was good enough; it really didn't need a sequel. I mean, like even they bring her back in the second one, and I can't even remember how they bring her back because they kill her in the first movie. So
that's true. Well, yeah, I don't know if they brought her back or if it was a clone or her daughter or something. Because I think they imply that they grow really quick from like an egg or whatever. They just they grow really quick, and then they're at whatever age.
Yeah,
I think.
But that's pretty cool. I can't believe you've seen the Species movie. That's pretty cool.
I got some that are known that I've seen. Okay, like I got a few.
We'll work on you. We'll work on you. Dan Blackwood said, "I think it's The Offspring." Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
They had a lot of sex in the movies, so I'm sure it was the Offspring that are in the sequels and stuff.
Very horny, baby.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Any other words?
No, I'm seeing if the chat says anything. Joey says the first they got her DNA from the radio signals from the stars. Oh my god, is that really what happens? The Martian DNA bring her back from Mars. Discovered from Mars first, Earth is next. Okay, yeah, they're trying to like invade the planet, I guess. He's saying that like that species is like what took out Mars or something.
Yeah,
civilization on Mars.
Yeah,
stuff.
something like that.
I got you. Okay, yeah, I guess that kind of makes more sense to what that was. I'm just more fuzzy on the memory. I guess maybe I'm remembering it to be better than it was too. For all I know, I don't know. Like, I gotta rewatch this.
There you go. But good night, Brian Barth. Thank you for hanging with us this evening, at night, whatever time it is your way. But Tom, what do you got for us? What's your next one?
Well, as we kind of discussed a little bit, but didn't want to get into too much. I recently got the Blob 4K, which kind of pissed me off because I already had the one I still haven't even opened yet from Shout, but I'm assuming it's basically the same as my import. This was released by Twilight Time as well. I have the Umbrella import here, which actually doesn't look bad for the time period. So I'm assuming it was pretty good scan then. And of course, Sony does an amazing job with the Blob here again for Shout Factory. It's a new 4K master, of course. I didn't get a chance to really get into the special features, so I apologize on that. But movie itself looks good, sounds good. Get the original stereo mix along with the 5.1 mix, which I couldn't really tell a huge discernible difference between the two. They're fairly in line with each other. But yeah, the movie itself, though, probably one of the better remakes in history. And if I dare say one that's better than the original, like The Fly.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
The
few that take that title, it's worth it. I think they earn it. You know, the ones that
I
are
mean,
better than
this time around, I did notice like the addition of the whole government getting involved was kind of wonky, but it works okay at the end. It even more of the biological warfare kind of bit. I think that's what you were going for, Greg.
Yeah. With the original, right? It was more like wasn't it the original?
The world, but it was an allegory for it.
Yeah, it was like an allegory because like
flat out a biological weapon.
Yeah, they kind of reversed. That's what I said. They're kind of reversed because the original it was an actual like alien being, and this one it was man created. So.
Well, I kind of, even though that's probably a really overdone trope, I imagine, like extremely overdone. I mean, it is just another one of those. Okay, well, man, at this point, just simply thinks they can control whatever they make, and whatever, it's easy enough. But it's not that easy to control it. It's the kind of thing you can't just control it. He made it to do something really severe, and you're paying for it. And it's good in that aspect. I think it would have been fine without the military aspect as well. Do you think it would have been better without that, or like if it was an alien thing? That's actually would have been. That's what I was going with when I first saw it. Like I saw it recently. Like I was like, okay, yeah, it's a weird alien space goo thing that was on a.
I don't hate it, but at least they, it makes sense in the movie and it helps. And this is where I was going about the pacing issues with the original version, because the remake, we should say, because it's fucking 30 years old as it is.
Yeah,
30 plus.
Right.
More like 35 years old. I think it would be this anniversary, pretty much. It paces the film out better, but part of the reason it's able to do that is because it adds that part to the last part of the movie. Because that's why I said like the original film kicks off with a bang, meanders for a bit, then ends with a bang. This one's just like bang, 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 bang.
Right.
Bang,
this one, I love the opening. The opening of this one
is relentless. Like when it starts, it does not fucking stop. Like they don't even have sometimes to show enough time to show you the fucking death. Sometimes it's like we ain't got time.
Well, or the
like
reaction.
even with the sheriff, he's just like boom, he's dead.
That's a great example. That's what I was thinking of.
I was gonna say the little brother.
Already?
Yeah,
the little brother. The sister has no time to react about that. He just got killed.
Well, that wasn't her brother. That was her brother's friend.
But the fact that movie had the balls to do that in 1988.
That's what I was about to say. That's what they killed it. When you can off a kid in a movie, it makes it like.
Well, not just that horrific of a way. I mean, it was pretty visceral.
He comes out of the water. He's like.
Well, I mean, we saw what happened with that first guy with the good college or with the good football kid or whatever.
Now, see, that's the thing is like that kid, that guy was essentially the Steve McQueen character because that's where they get you too, like because they pull a little switcheroo because like first it starts with her and the guy, the football player.
The Steve McQueen character up between
they kind of like because Steve McQueen was like the sweater wearing guy in the original and stuff, and then like they kind of
they have this thing going on with him where he has a similar conversation with the cop or whatever. He has a conversation with the cop where he's like, I'm trying to do the right thing. So like we have this idea that he's a little bit of a troublemaker. So they do kind of spin that off into the I just forgot his name. Kevin Dillon character.
Yeah.
Right. But you're right. Like you also are kind of tricked because you think, okay, this must be his equivalent, the football player guy.
Yeah, he's like
and when he's the first one to go, you kind of takes you by surprise. Yeah,
it's a shock.
Well, I mean, there's that, but like I was referring to, like you see how severe it like burns your skin and melts your face and everything.
Well,
that happened to the
we're
little
able
boy.
to take I mean,
like that's. But like to see that happens to the little boy too, like
exactly.
That's how that kid dies. Like
there's a lot of that in this film, and that's what I give him credit for, is having the balls. Because let's be real, this could have easily been a PG-13 horror movie of the time. It wouldn't be
easily, yeah. Just this big thing sucks you up, and that's it. Whatever.
It's I mean, I can guarantee you a studio's like, oh, you're going to remake The Blob. Well, that's going to obviously be more of a satire.
It's a Nickelodeon slime thing just for getting you.
Chuck Russell and Darabont are like, watch us. Hold my fucking beer.
Yeah.
Right.
Watch this, like
we're going to suck a dude down a freaking sink pipe.
That scene surprised me at how gory that was. I
love
like,
that.
Whoa. That's how you have to do this, right? You either go full on satire, right? Or you go balls to the fucking wall. And they managed, at this point, special effects were at that point that they were able to go balls to the fucking wall with this, right? Like that was the big thing.
It did so well to me. There was a lot of comedic tone, but also horrific at the, like, I don't know if I've ever seen ones that do it that well, where it's like, it's kind of funny, but holy shit.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's what I was watching.
That's Chuck Russell and Frank Darabont for you. And I can't believe Chuck Russell has not directed more films.
Right?
I don't understand. He started with Nightmare on Elm Street 3, brilliant. The Blob was his follow-up, brilliant.
Yep.
A Mask, huge hit. And then I can't even remember the name of the movie. He did some other movie, and then he fell off the face of the earth. And then he directed a movie like 2 years ago, and then hasn't done anything since. Like yeah, I don't know what the hell he's been doing, or what the deal was, or what happened with him. And I don't remember any kind of controversy or nothing like that. And I know Frank went on to be the more prolific one, right? He moved up from writing into directing, and then the big thing with Walking Dead and whatnot. But I'm like, why didn't these guys do more? Because especially as the two of them together were amazing, right? Like Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and The Blob are two almost damn near fucking perfect movies. Like I can't think of anything in those two movies that I could change to make any better.
They're pretty damn solid.
Exactly.
That's what I was thinking about with The Blob. Usually, with movies like that, I could think, oh, if you only did this or that, what would make it better? I couldn't think of anything. The beginning was a very it's an empty town, and it's kind of a slow, spooky start. Like if you already are familiar with the Blob story, you kind of might guess what's already happened or whatever. But no, they're at a football game. So it's like just a weird subversion for me that I kind of liked as it eased you in to what it was. I was like, oh shit, okay, and it's a nice little.
Well, it shows that Darabont and Russell are very aware of the audience, right? Which makes all the difference in the world. And it's like they know what it would be like to sit and watch this movie. So and they prove that they're fans of the original on top of it all.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're kids in a candy store in this movie.
Yeah. It's like I said, they grew up in the 50s and in the 60s, and they saw The Blob. They were huge fans of it, and they transcend that to the 80s, taking the 80s sensibility. And, like you said, they take it very seriously. They're fans, and they deliver a great freaking movie. It's really damn good.
Do some of the effects hold up nowadays? No.
I mean, a little, but I mean, it's the kind of thing where I'm okay that it isn't perfect with some of the effects. Like that's fine.
I would rather see them try to do practical miniature effects like they did, than try to do. And that's what I said. I would dread it now because it would all be CGI.
Yeah.
It'd be like Flubber all over again.
Well, it's like to me, I was going when I picked this one to watch for October. I was really not expecting to like it because I'm like, it's just I'm just imagining a goo, and it's just like, oh no, look, don't touch the goo or something. I'm like, I have no idea what they're gonna do. and it's like such a creative aspect with it, and it's like an amoebus thing that's trying to get you. I would have been fine if there wasn't a created by humans plot, because I could, like, I'm a space guy, I love space stuff, so like I could believe, okay, there's some weird germ or something out there that
I believe in the original it's actually from space. It's not a man-made thing, because we were scared of stuff like that back in then.
Well, and this guy touches the thing and says, "Oh, you idiot!" Even if it's not going to get you like this, you don't. And then it gets on his hand, and like that again is kind of like I want to say claustrophobic kind of thing, because it's like on you and you can't get it off. Like, and then it's also, and then you see it's also like destroying his hand at the same time. But like later and stuff, like when they cut to the body in the nurses or in the doctor's office, and it's like, what the hell happened to this guy? Like that was insane. And it's like just this goo thing, and the cops are really wanting to blame this kid for it, you little hoodlum. And it's just like, no. And at the end, the guy's like, trust me, my enemy here, trust me, right, over these government idiots. And it's like, well, yeah, okay. And it's a small town. I'm not a huge small town guy, a knower of all that stuff. So but like, them being all at the football game shows it's like, yeah, this is a huge, like a small town. Everybody knows each other pretty much. And like, it's just such a good freaking movie here. I don't know.
I love the small town feel. I love that. I love those type of movies, and I absolutely love the. Go ahead, Tom.
I say, if anything, it feels like there's some stuff missing from the movie. I don't know if there probably are deleted scenes, but I don't know if they're on the disc or not. Because like the brother character almost gets forgotten about for about a half hour.
Yeah,
true. They're like, oh yeah, we got to go get him, and then that's
I feel like there's a scene or two that's missing. I mean, they do bump to him once in the theater. So that's probably all they're like, oh, that's all you need. You don't need any more.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, what else would you show him? What else would you show with it? With him?
Exactly. Like that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing. And I'm stretching right now. I'm like, what could you do to make this? Nothing. Like there's not a damn.
There's no way
really think of.
There's no way.
And it set itself up to where you don't really need a fucking sequel to it, even though a Blobs would have been, the most obvious sequel.
Well, yeah, it's like they have it be where from the phone booth there was a little tiny bit of goo from the blob that like was left behind.
Well,
and like
what I was saying,
the preacher took it in a jar, and at the very end he's like I don't know, preaching death. His face is all kind of messed up for some reason, and he's like acting like he's going to release this blob one of these days or something.
Well, that's kind of what the end of the. Where the blob is literally this preacher going like soon, and he's got these little pieces of the blob. And he's gonna let him go. Eventually, he insinuates.
Right,
that's the end of the remake. Yeah, so like that would be fun. But like in the original, like when they put it up there, like if it broke apart like that and you could separate it, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I'd like this idea of like you get a blob, but like you have several of them.
Right. I mean, I kind of get it too, but I'm not sure how. I guess I'm trying to imagine what the scenario would be for the characters that would make it worth watching if there's just multiple blobs. Like I'm not sure.
It'd be fucking hell, man. First of all, you'd have to find a way to separate it. It's easier if it's the ending of the original one because you just figure, they threw it up in the because that's how they found it. They just found pieces of it,
right?
Like so, like it must have broke up when it landed in the Antarctic. That's what you basically do. You have it that it got frozen and broke up, but it thawed out. So now it's in several different fucking pieces and you have it all over the place to where it's all over, but it's trying to converge with itself. So eventually the characters figure out where it's going to go. You know what I mean? Like all the different pieces of it are kind of converging, but they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. They're going to converge in the middle into this big, huge fucking blob. Like, doesn't that sound like an amazing sequel to you?
That would be great. That would be good.
Not only do you have one of them going out there killing people, you've got like several.
Yeah,
several.
Well, I guess as long as they would keep, would it be a remake or would it be a sequel to it?
I don't know. You could do like a quasi sequel. I mean,
because they established a couple rules.
This is my idea. What I would do is if you do original remake of the original, set it now, and if that does well, then you do Blobs as a sequel, right? Okay. And you just end this. You have it be an alien again. An alien force again, because you've already done the biological thing. You just go back to the original.
Or now we're back to being afraid of aliens. So
well, whatever. Yeah. So like at the end, you just end it the same way where they throw it up in Antarctica for now because we don't know what else to fucking do with it because that's
the coldest area that we know.
That's not what our government would fucking do, you know. And then in the second movie, you have some idiots find it. Or you could just set that up as the sequel, as like just like it's a sequel to the original, but it's all these years later. Some idiots find it, not realizing what it is, and bring it back to civilization. Send it out to all these different scientists to have it checked out, and that's where the pieces get spread out all over. And now you find out they're migrating their way to get back together in this central location. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess in my head I'm thinking of it like because they established in this one sort of like with the Thing as well, where they like kind of calculated how long it would take for it to engulf the America or something, and then maybe the world.
Yeah.
And so like if they did a sequel, I'd want them to keep
how long
that
it would take. Wouldn't take half the time, or a third of the time, or fourth of the time, depending on how many pieces you had. Okay, so like you'd really be on a ticking clock if you had multiple blobs. Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
What about?
I guess that's what I mean.
Blob?
That's what I mean. I guess if
that's what I mean at the end, Scott Hughes. Exactly. You'd have this huge fucking blob you'd have to deal with. And the best part is nowadays, they'd come up with some kind of technology, or they'd have to find a way to freeze it without, to get that much CO2 would probably be impossible. There's probably a better way of freezing it, right?
It'd be kind of funny if they just send it into space and they're like, all right, just whatever, space can deal with it. And then it's like, maybe it'll come back. I don't know. Like, or lands on some other civilization.
You freeze in space.
Well, it makes so much sense. And even little things they don't necessarily have to explain, right? Like in the original one, the outer shell was hot for hours after it entered the atmosphere, and the blob was, because that's how it survived going through the colds of space, obviously, is that the meteor was always hot and it was on the inside. There's just the little things like that they thought of. And, even in the sequel, or the remake, I should say, I keep saying the sequel, because there is a sequel to the original. I keep fucking myself up by saying that.
Scott,
it's weird. It almost feels like a weird, it's more of a remake, sequel in name only. Like, it's weird. I don't know how else to kind of explain it. I can't recommend it compared to the original and the remake. Only the sequel is like a real kind of oddity. It's okay, but it's not it's not so bad it's good, but it's not good enough to be worthy of the original, because it is pretty much a straight remake almost. Like the same shit happens. Like I said, the only thing they change out the theater for a skating, or the theater and the cat diner at the end for a skating rink, basically. Other than that, it's almost like some of the same kind of stuff happens almost.
Mighty Ducks versus the Blues.
You even have this character running around. It's just a girl instead of Steve McQueen, trying to convince everybody of what she saw.
I got you.
It's all the same beats after that and everything. Yeah.
That's what it's like even that in the movie, like having that guy, they do so much setup.
It's so weird that you even have the guy who found him in Antarctica. He's going fishing, so he has like his tent and all this shit set up in the living room. So when the blob gets out, it's almost kind of like that, and he gets consumed by the blob, just like the weird thing I will say. The movie starts out really shitty. The beginning of the sequel starts out shitty. It kind of loses the audience right off the bat, and that's because it starts off the credits with the shot of this kitten in a fucking field for like 5 minutes, and the kitten is the fucking blob's first victim, and you see it. So it's not even like it happens off screen. Like the fucking blob grabs the cat and takes the fuck off.
I imagine most women walked out of the theater at that point, or I don't know.
And then it kills the wife, then it kills the husband. So like it does that like right away within the first few minutes, and the one chick walks in on it killing the husband, and that's how she sees the blob, and nobody believes her, and she's got a boyfriend, and it's the same fucking scenario after that. Only he's a hippie now instead of being a 1950s teenager. Basically, it's all late 60s, early 70s, or whatever, early 70s. But yeah.
Right.
Otherwise, after that, it's really just a remake of the original film.
Right. But like with the 80s one, like I love how much setup there is in like the first 30 minutes for things that do pay off throughout the film. Like him going over that jump, just a few certain things, of course, like you touch the blob, there's the people, his relationship with people in the town, just the towns and the relationship with each other, how it is, even the chick with the diner, even she's like, oh yeah, the sheriff's gonna be a hero in this too, and maybe this lady's gonna be he's dead, when they're in the phone booth and she sees his floating body like there, which is that's the only time you really see a body floating in it, I think, when he drops her on the phone booth in the 80s one.
Yeah
I think so. But I like the setup / subversions that they do with a lot of this. There's a couple things I thought they were gonna do, but they like kind of take it and do something else for their payoff with it. And it's like, okay,
great.
Like that.
It's so sad.
it's a really good movie, and like me who hasn't seen a bunch of these films, like, and I've seen, I'm a modern boy, I freaking love this movie.
It's a solid film, and especially if you, it's just like if you love the thing and you love that, it's just in the same leagues as far as I'm concerned, because it's a pretty damn good movie. And I love the scene in the movie theater when she walks in and it's just like got people everywhere slinging and it's like lights are flashing, and it's just, I love that scene. It's just amazing. It's such a good movie.
I like too, the Marines are like shooting at it, and it's like, what's that going to do? What do you mean? What are you gonna do? And then like the guy's like kind of like feels it's pointless. He's like, yeah, I got my bazooka or whatever, my rocket launcher, but it's like, what does that matter? It's not gonna do anything. Like, it won't. Like, that's the point.
Well, that was my question about the ending of the, and I guess there you go. There's the one thing about the end of the Blob that I'm like, sure, the preacher thing was kind of weird to me. It was okay, but it felt like a very 80s ending.
I thought it was weird that he wanted to have an apocalypse. I didn't really get that. Like,
I get that part.
End of time. End of time.
He's trying to prove his point, and he thinks this is the meaning to the. See, because that's the thing. The original movie, you can almost spin like it almost has like this warning about global warming in it. Even before, I think they even knew global warming was a thing, right? Like you could, beyond the, with the ending, you could have, okay, first it's biological warfare plus a little tag on the end about a warning about global warming. I'm surprised they didn't lean into that more with this one. Right, like they put the damn thing in Antarctica, but then at the end of the movie, you have this report about global war.
Okay, well, guess it'll be
back like a rock song. You know what I mean? Like this whole like thing of like, oh shit, we're gonna have to deal with this thing in a few years again. Like that's kind of the setup there. But no, the thing that was weird about it is because they freeze it, blow it up, and I'm like, isn't that thing just floating around in the atmosphere now, spread into a million flakes? And that's what made me think of blobs. I'm like, this time around, I'm like, they could have made a sequel of that, like call it Blobs, like because it's gonna thaw out the moment it hits the fucking ground,
right?
And not only that, it's gonna be spread all over.
Somebody puts it on their jelly sandwich.
Smudge of this thing, and it just keeps growing and growing from whatever it eats, right?
Right.
No. You need to have a good blob. There's a good blob and the bad.
Oh no! Don't do that.
You join the heroes. And he's the littlest blob of the whole bunch, and so he can't grow.
No. See,
he's on a diet for eating humans. He's on a vegan diet, and
no, we don't need
that blob here.
Vegetarian blob.
We don't need that at all.
That would be a funny parody. That's a great SNL skit, though. That'd be funny.
I love you, but maybe, like the baby blob that could.
Because it's always like whatever one changes sides and things, it's always like the weakest one. It's like, oh look, the little one is on our side. Yeah.
And honestly, that's one of the weakest things in most movies and TV shows, outside of a few rare occurrences where I can see that, like, because it never fails. It always just, it's like, why did they flip sides? Are they that weak?
Yeah.
As you said, it's the weakest characters. It's like 9 times out of 10 they're not, though. And it's like,
because they always always somehow take out a bunch of their own kind. They turn on their race and then they like kill a bunch of their race usually. And it's like, well, what? But they're always, I don't know. Yeah. That's a different conversation. Yeah, that's a rabbit hole one there.
That is a rabbit hole. Yeah, that's I can recommend it. I don't know about the price, depending on what you get it for. I did have some issues with Shout Factory, but now I'm getting another copy of this sent out again, even though I reordered it on Amazon. So go figure, because of their bullshit. I had a week with them dealing with their customer. I don't know who handles their, because I left some pretty fucking honest fucking opinions on one of my recent reviews. 2 of them. And one of their representatives come back at me pretty fucking rude. And I let them know. And it was simple things, right? And they're like, well, you were the one who's being rude. I'm like, no, I'm pointing out simple facts. How is that being fucking rude?
This came to be damaged. Sir, watch your tone.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was, first of all, they couldn't get my shipment to me properly. I don't even know why, but that was a whole nother scenario. And one of the things I'd ordered went on sale within, they say it was 2 days, even though I know I ordered it really late in the one day. So it was literally like a day after, went on sale for that Shocktober sale or whatever they have.
Yeah.
And so I mentioned something about it because it was like a good $10-15 difference. Plus you add in the shipping and all that business.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I was going to order some movies from your sale, but now I'm can't you just combine that with that? No, they can't combine orders. That's one thing. I'm like, even fucking Vinegar Syndrome can combine orders.
Vinegar Syndrome does
Everybody
that.
else can combine it. Why can't you? And they redid something in their ordering system a while back here, and everything's been fucked up ever since. You can't even get back into your old orders. You can't see what they are, and the way the guy treated me, it's like, look, of course I order a lot of shit. I'm going to have some problems, but the least you could do is kind of pay attention to me and some of the gripes I'm having here. Maybe you should listen to them a little bit, because I'm not the only one who has them. And the prices they charge for their shit is still outrageous. You know what? I let Kino Lorber get away with a lot more than Shout Factory. You want to know why? Because they don't charge an arm and a fucking leg for their movies. That's why.
It's true. I've seen a lot of people start turning on Shout and Scream Factory lately. I have. And
they charge way too goddamn much. And they pull this bullshit of re-releasing movies way too often. Like I just said, I haven't even had a chance to open the motherfucker yet.
Yeah.
Now, am I glad I got a better version of it? Yeah, but I'd rather just waited. But they
do have a habit of doing that, where it's like they'll release, it's weird. It's like, okay, we'll do a 4K scan, we'll release the Blu-ray, and then 6 months later, here's the 4K.
Well, this one doesn't even have a 4K scan on the original Blu-ray. And granted, this Blu-ray is a couple years old. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I think it's like, when did it come out? They don't have a date on it.
I'd say about 2 years ago, maybe.
I was going to say, it's not that old. I know that.
Yeah.
But it's not a new scan, or at least they don't say it on here.
You're right, Tim. Kino has become healthy competition. I mean,
yes, they have. It's
got to the point where Shout and Scream are no longer the only ones in the game. Kino, Vinegar Syndrome, Synapse, a bunch of them are coming up strong and getting a lot of titles.
And you know what? Their customer service rocks, because even if there's a problem, they're not too hard to get a hold of. They try to do their best to make it up to you. I recently had an order that was my fault that got fucked up because I forgot to change my credit card on it because it was expired, and I forgot to put my new one on there. And they were going to give me the sale prices on stuff, but I said I already ordered the other ones, and I'll just wait till the other ones come back around again, because the other two that weren't on sale, Yeah. So look, they've always worked with me. In fact, the one time before, I had a similar issue, just because of my bank for some reason was kicking them back as suspected, like they didn't recognize them or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So like I had that issue, and they made sure I was able to reorder everything and get the sale price, because it was one of my big sale orders. It was because it was such a big amount. I think my bank kicked it back. So they're like, well, that's odd. It was like $200-$300 worth, whatever. One of the big sales. Yeah.
Was your card stolen? We got a $300 charge for movies. Who buys movies anymore?
I don't know what it said for, but it was a company that, I mean, I'm sure I'd ordered through them before, but like, that's probably what made it notice. It was like, oh, he's done orders with them before, but they were never this amount or something like that. And I don't even remember what it was, but no, they were really good at it. And every other else, Vinegar Syndrome I've dealt with, even Arrow, I've had. My only complaint with Arrow is they take too goddamn long to get their fucking movies out.
It does. It takes them a little bit.
It's because they're shipping them from overseas. I understand. They're doing their best. But it's kind of annoying when you're sitting here and you see up on YouTube, this person, that person pops up and they already got theirs a week before you do. And it gets annoying sometimes. But hey, you know what? Arrow makes up for it in the quality.
Oh, man.
And the quantity of special features and stuff that they put into these, I cannot gripe. That's where they shine, and they do some of the best fucking transfers. If they aren't given to them, they do when they do them on their own. So
yeah. Umbrella's pretty good too, Dalton. They're pretty damn good. They're Australian company, but they're pretty good. Yeah,
they're generally victims of circumstance, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I put an order in. I think I broke down and ordered their Ninja Turtles release, because it is also supposedly from a new scan, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is where I'm trying to figure this out. This is actually another topic for another day, but yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with Ninja Turtles, because I thought I heard somebody say that Paramount owns the rights to those movies now, and I'm like, unless they bought them outright, I don't understand how that's possible.
Yeah,
but it might be. They might have quietly, and I don't know about it, because with Golden Harvest doing their release of it over in Japan, which I also ordered, hopefully I get my hands on, and the one that Umbrella is doing now, I don't know. It's weird. But I can't remember where I read it, but I believe it said that they came from the new 2K
Yeah,
series.
yeah.
So
Interesting. Well, hopefully you'll figure that out for us.
I'll let you know the quality when I get them.
Scott Hughes wants to know about the Walmart manager at Walmart told me.
Yeah, I'm not so sure what's going on with that because Walmart as a whole is supposed to be doing an expansion on their DVD Blu-ray section, but that doesn't mean that regionally there might be some situations where if they don't sell well there, they may not have that for, because he said that they recently changed his Walmart, remodeled it or something like that, and their new floor plan does not have any plans for home media in it. Just records and all that kind of stuff, no home video, because he couldn't find any. He's like, all they have in their plan is for bins, which tells me that maybe that store is not a big seller for home video, probably.
I was gonna say, yeah,
My guess, because if they're expanding it everywhere else, for the most part anywhere else. And here's the other thing is I wonder if they didn't hear from a little birdie early on that Best Buy was getting out of that. And if they heard that, then that's why they did that.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, Walmart might be interesting, that deal with the SDS or whatever, and they're the number one physical media. So they take up half the market of physical media. I know they're getting rid of Xbox games. I heard they are getting rid of Xbox games, but that's Xbox for no other games, So I would assume that they're going to probably start selling a little more. I don't know if some stores will expand their physical media department or not, but yeah, they had to have been tipped off a little bit about Best Buy. So we'll see.
Well, because Best Buy, I noticed, has already moved most of their new release stuff, unless it's like a bigger title or a steelbook they get exclusively. They've already moved their stuff to online, like it's only online orders. And the guy this week told me about them ending their sales. When the last time I was in there, I mentioned it to him, and they didn't even know about it yet.
Dang.
So news spread fast for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. I think Amazon and I think Walmart are going to take big advantage of this.
Oh yeah, big time.
And I think a lot of the exclusives and stuff we saw will probably move over to them.
Yeah, I did read Bill Hunt's article that he just put out saying that for those thinking that Best Buy had a huge footprint in the physical
he had a
world,
great editorial.
Yeah,
on
did
it,
you read that? That was great.
Yeah.
He's like, let's be real here, people. Best Buy was not that. Actually, not that much of sales for physical media. I mean, yeah, we had this special steelbooks and stuff, but it wasn't a big selling thing for them. So it's a great article. I do highly recommend you guys go read that from Bill Hunt.
No, and unless it was certain movies, they would languish on their shelves, and that's why the Universal Monster movies just got liquidated at $15 a pop for the steelbooks. And I'm realizing now why Best Buy is getting out of this, because here's the other thing I found out is when they do these exclusives, guess what? They are stuck buying their entire stock.
Yeah, because that's the studios already make money whether they sell or not, because Best Buy already bought them all.
Yep. So that's why you go through there sometimes and you'll find a lot of steelbooks on clearance because they just weren't able to get rid of them. But that's not for everything. You have the other side of it too, where the ones that are worth a lot. But Best Buy ain't seeing that $100 sale from eBay.
Nope. That's true. I hate scalpers.
Right? Because I'm like, shit. I mean, part of me is still kicking myself in the butt on certain ones I never got back in the day, like Addams Family and a few others. But hey, it is what it is. But at this point, I see Amazon, Walmart, maybe even Target still. I don't know, because I think I heard they were also talking about cutting back as well.
Yeah, I heard Target was cutting them out of the physical media business too. So,
but here's the thing, and I can see this as also a shopper kind of thing. Walmart caters to a completely different demographic than Target and Best Buy do. The demographic that Target and Best Buy target, not to be punny, are I hate saying it like this, but upper class or higher income families, let's say.
You're not wrong.
Families that have already went over to streaming. They're not buying DVDs. They're not buying Blu-rays. That's not what they're into. They don't consume things that way. To where a lower income family that's not into all the streaming business and all that kind of stuff, they're still buying those Walmart $5 bin DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
They're still buying most of their movies and stuff at Walmart when they're at the store and they're getting their groceries and the kid goes, Mom, I want the DC Super Pets movie or whatever the latest Disney movie is, right? Like that's what they're there for. That's what they do. And they do all right with that. And that's fine. And I think that as long as the studios nurture that relationship, there's nothing wrong with, like, Walmart actually used to have a pretty kick-ass fucking section.
They did.
It was kind of combative with a lot of the others out there. Like there was a time period where I had to, this is another reason why Best Buy probably moved farther and farther away from physical media. It used to be where I would take a drive to the closest Madison, which was an hour away, or closest Best Buy, which is in either Madison or La Crosse, over an hour away, both directions, just to get, Tuesday releases, to where when Walmart started getting them, I didn't have to no more.
Right.
Because the local Walmart, well, to me, it was still a half-hour drive. That's still a half hour less than I had to drive before.
Right.
And then when and Amazon on top of it all, then, well, those few rare ones I couldn't pick up at Best Buy or at Walmart, I just go and get from Amazon online, And for years, that was my DVD and Blu-ray Tuesday. I was there Monday night at midnight at fucking Walmart picking up whatever I could. And then whatever I couldn't get, I just order from Amazon. Or if I had to really get something I wanted something real bad, if Best Buy would have it exclusive, that's the only time I'd bother going in the store. But it was generally for that and only that.
Right.
Unless they had some other sale that caught my eye, but that was very rarely because back then I didn't really have the money to be buying a lot of shit anyway.
Yeah. I just hope that with Walmart, if they do, we get a little more than just DVDs. I know DVDs are the number one seller, but that's what Walmart sticks to. Like you said, not to be rude to anybody.
They sell out of a lot of their 4Ks. I think that's another reason why they're thinking this is a good thing.
Yes.
Because a lot of the Walmarts I've gone to, a lot of their better titles, they sell clean out of their 4Ks usually.
Yeah.
And they've already had to restock a bunch of those Halloween movies out here at my Walmart.
I bought a few of them.
That was half the reason I bought the Leprechaun set, because there was only one left, and I'm like, I'm going to regret it if I don't.
Yeah,
and then I come out this last week here, and there's a whole fucking 5 new ones in there.
I know.
On top of whatever other ones they filled up since. But yeah.
But yeah, hopefully they get a little better, because my Walmarts at the moment don't really sell a whole lot of 4K. It's basically mostly DVDs. So, but I guess we'll go to
that is true. Mine still is moved over more to DVDs than what 4Ks they do get generally sell out.
Yeah, they do. And they have pretty good deals on their 4K, so I can't complain. But we've been going for 3 hours, so we better get to my pick. And
we got one more to go yet.
Yeah. So
I got a lot to go on my last pick. I'm sorry we went so long.
That's okay.
Combine this one with the other ones.
That's okay. But my final pick is Trick or Treat.
Yes.
Another one I was going to watch, and I didn't get
to. Yes.
I love this movie. This is a great movie. This is a quintessential Halloween movie to watch right there. Yeah, there you go. You got the Shout Factory. See, the thing is, I never bought the Shout Factory one because I assume we're going to get a 4K of it. So I'm just going to stick with it. With the Warner premiere.
I don't know. Yeah, we might, but because I'm pretty sure it was shot digitally.
I mean, they did do the 4K of Krampus made by the same director. So I figured eventually they'll do a 4K.
Yeah, but Krampus was a theatrical release. This was straight to video. And
yeah, that's true. That's true. But I've heard rumors, and so you never know. Plus, there's always
we'll see how it upgrades. Yeah.
But from what I know, from what I have, and from that's got a little more special features than mine does. So.
There's a few new things on here.
Yeah, there's a couple new things in the one I have. But it's the same scan, like you said. It's the same scan. It's
that part's the same, but otherwise it has all those whatever's on there, plus new tales of folklore and fright, including interviews with writer, director, conceptual artist, storyboard artist, new sounds and shocks and superstition, including interviews with Michael Dougherty and composer Michael Douglas Pipes. And then the rest looks like it's all been carried over from the other one.
Yeah, so it's got 2 extra than what I have. 2 extra special features than what's on mine.
And I was thinking about, because that's cheap. The one you got there, you can get for dirt cheap.
This is like $6, but I've had it for a while. So
the only reason I bought the Shout one is because I was like, I wasn't 100% sure if we're going to get another release of it. And since it had all the special features, I figured that way I'd just go with that one. Because I think I did pay like $20 for it, but yeah.
I may upgrade to that.
You might be right.
Yeah, I may upgrade to that eventually, but there's especially if they end up doing a part 2, which they tease almost every Halloween anyways. But if they actually end up doing a part 2, some tells me we'll be getting a 4K of it, either from Warner or from Shout. So that's why I kind of held off a little bit, but I may eventually upgrade anyways. But regardless, this is a great Halloween anthology movie. It does Halloween justice with the little Sam and like the rules of Halloween and like the interconnected stories that they have with the dad, from what's the name? What is his name? I just saw
From
Dylan Baker. He's in the Spider-Man movies and stuff. Him, how he's a principal and he just straight up kills people, and then you got the werewolf tales, and you get the tales like the ghost story with the kids on the bus, which is still creepy. There's masks on those kids. It's such a great anthology. I definitely think you could pair this with Creepshow 2, and Trick or Treat. That's like some of the best anthologies, and Cat's Eye. That's some of the best anthologies you can watch of horror movies. And this is a great. Have you seen this, Ricky?
I saw it for the first time last year. I was going into it again. One of those ones I thought I was going to hate because I thought it was just like this little demon kid thing is going to kill people.
No, man.
And I thought that was going to be the whole movie. But no, there's so much more than that. And it was like, especially the first scene with the parents first, and then like the guy with the kid, he's eating chocolate and everything. And the werewolves, that was another nice twist. I was like, with Rogue and what, I was like, dude, this and the kids with the bus. I was like, this is a great movie. By the time it gets to the little Sam demon thing, like what a creepy little encounter that is for that.
Yeah,
and, like,
right.
And it's also very comedic, like with how it is. Like before we see that, we see the kid, you tackle him. But it's like, hey, what's that? What was that? And we see that later here. It's
the way it all
shit,
connects and it leads back to right around to the beginning. It's a great movie.
Yeah, the werewolf things was a nice little twist as well. I was like, wait, what are they talking about?
So the little twist of the Little Red Riding Hood tale, but she's the big bad wolf. Spoilers, but yeah, it's great. That was great. Good night, Sean Kremel. Thanks for hanging with us. I know we've been going a little longer lately, but hey, it's been Halloween, and we've been watching more. Man. We've been watching more lately. But it's really good. It's a great little. It's a great little anthology. It's got got legitimate scares to it. It's got legitimate comedy to it. Great little.
He's burying the kid, and he's like talking with the neighbor.
Yeah,
he's like, "What was that noise?"
Speaking of another movie, this was one of those movies that came out, and it came out like the 2000s, 2007, I believe. And that's like we've gotten to the point, like we talked about earlier, like nothing really much happens in movies anymore. They started on the downside, and this gives you. The dude kills a kid. This shows titties, and the whole story with the young kids playing the prank on the girl, and she just leaves them to fucking die with the ghost.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie has balls, and I love it. It's so
good.
Excuse me,
that was one of my favorite picks of last year. That was a really good one.
Yeah, it's a pretty damn solid movie, and of course. The director has been teasing a sequel for years now. Like I said, just about every Halloween, he says, "We're working on a part 2. We got the script."
I feel like you can make a movie in that type of way with anything almost, and have a slightly horror twist to it in a way with an anthology or whatever. Like like how it is. So I mean, just even if you didn't make a sequel to Trick or Treat, like I feel like you could make a movie. In this type of vein, is there anything else like other than those two?
Supposedly, the movie Krampus that he made, he also made. He has I think it's on the special features. He says that the movie Krampus takes place within the Trick or Treat world. It's connected, so it's a Christmas horror movie. If you've never Christmas comedy horror movie, so
right.
that
makes sense.
Yeah. If you want to tell of Christmas horror, it supposedly takes place in the same world as the Trick or Treat world, and it's actually very similar. So,
yeah.
The guy, but it's not an anthology. It's not an anthology movie. It's just one tale.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's surprisingly good. The little kid doesn't even kill that guy. He just gives him a candy. Or he gives the little guy candy, and then he's like, "All right, bye." He's like, "Okay, I'll be trick-or-treaters now." Okay.
Poor guy.
It's just like, and then all the ghost kids show up. He's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Okay.
It builds. Yeah.
Oh, love it. Love it. Love that movie.
It's a good movie. It's a fun movie. But yeah, I've never really upgraded it to the Shout Factory one because I mean, yes, there are some special features on there that I don't have that I want to see, but for some reason I just feel like we're going to get a 4K of it. I just do. So I've kept on to my Warner Premiere one. So there's that. But it's a pretty solid Halloween flick. So there you go. Tim, it's all about the way you say it. It's all about the way you say it. I'm just saying, you know, sometimes women they act like that, but they don't really get that mad at it.
Is it because you didn't say tiddies? You said titties.
Titties,
boobulars, you know, whatever. Boobsicles, breasticles.
But let's move it on because yeah,
all right. I got my last pick.
But we'll go to you
anyway.
and then we'll go to Tom because
Yep.
we have been going for 3 hours. So go on.
Yeah, my last round anyway. Last pick here, and we already did this one kind of recently, so I'll keep it short. But I have my own set of it. The 6 film collection of Chucky. I got this a couple years back, of course. Back when Curse of Chucky was around, when that one was out, and yeah, I like this series and stuff. We talked about that beforehand. Get the thing open. But yeah, it's got the, you know, nice.
That's one I got
cover there as well and stuff, and got the things on the inside, nice and neat. I kind of like this format. It's nice and simple. Just boop, boop, there they are. All right, sweet. Cool.
Are these DVDs or Blu-rays or both?
I think it's just DVDs.
I think that's the Blu-ray collection, actually.
It looks like there's a Bluray and DVD of each movie.
It says DVD.
Oh no,
it's
DVD. Oh no, it's the DVD version.
Oh, it's the DVD. I was gonna say it looks like too many movies for.
Oh no, it's the 6 film collection. So it's got Child's Play 1 through 3, The Bride, The Seed, and The Curse.
I didn't even know they did a DVD version of it.
Yeah, neither did I.
Yeah, well,
not of that set anyway.
But yeah, I mean, we've talked about these before, so I won't be too long on them. But yeah, I like them too. The first 3 Child's Play, I don't love, but there's aspects to them that are good, of course. You know, like the kid is, you know, everybody thinks that he's the little killer or that he's crazy. Yeah, that's the Blu-ray, definitely, that he's got. But everybody thinks he's the killer. And, you know, I remember the most visual thing I remember at the end of the first one is Chucky on fire trying to kill him. He's like basically a corpse. The second one was weird because don't they like take the remains of Chucky and then remake him into a toy to sell? Like
not sell, but it was to try and prove that it wasn't possessed, and it didn't work out too well.
Right, because he was, of course.
It was like they managed to get the killer doll, and they were trying to discredit Andy and his mom, and they're like, "We're going to take this doll."
In the midst of a bunch of like lawsuits and all that business. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they're like, "Oh, these crazy couple trying to defame our company and smirch our name and stuff." Right? And like, okay. And the kid's there, and yeah, I mean the paranoia of the second one. We know what happens in the first one, so it's okay. The second one here, I remember vague things too with like Chucky's like got a ruler and he's like looking at a magazine. He's like, lesbos. It's just like random little lines that are kind of funny. Child's Play 3, that's like where they're at the military school, right? And he's like, oh, I have like a new body, sort of a new doll body. So maybe the curse works where he could get a different kid that he's got to do, because he chose Andy because he was the first person that he told that he was in there, right? And that's why he had to.
Yeah, and then he had a new body.
That's why he had to do Andy.
Because Chucky's going to be a bro. So
Chucky's going to be a bro, exactly. Yeah. So the comedy's there and funny. Bride of Chucky was the first one I ever saw. So when I discovered there's 3 movies before that, I was like, what the hell? Because they showed Bride of Chucky all the time on FX. On TV and stuff. So that was on that or the Sci-Fi Channel. I forget which one. But it's on one. They played on either of them, honestly. And then Seed of Chucky was weird. I remember the end of Bride of Chucky where it's just a little infant baby. He's like, "Oh, what's this? Is she pregnant? That's weird." Just infant thing, just kills the guy. And yeah, Seed of Chucky is a weird little movie, but it's kind of funny. I like Curse of Chucky. I don't know if that one is as widely liked.
No, most people like that one, all right.
But it was like, okay, it wasn't like oh wow, fantastic. But it was like,
Chucky, don't fuck with the Chuck.
Well, it's like, and that they didn't just do a full reboot of it. But like he put whatever makeup prosthetics on himself to hide his scars that he originally has. Did you make that, Tom, or somebody else make that?
No,
for
I
you?
got it from Walmart.
Okay.
It's not Brad Dourif.
Right.
Oh yeah, you can tell that's not him at all.
That's
I could do a better Brad Dourif than that.
I was gonna say they couldn't
Right.
even get a guy that sounds like him.
What if they got like Sam Kinison to voice him? I feel like that was
Sam
an
Kinison is
option.
dead. So.
No, I'm saying when they made the films, of course. Like I feel like in my head, I almost interchange them sometimes. And if you're to yell or whatever, you know, because he yells quite a few times with it. But anyway, like we've talked about Chucky before when Tom had that for the picks, so like we don't need to spend too long on that. So voice most of that there. But I have that too. And I had this for a few years now, so it's not like a brand new one that I got. Chucky is a good little series. Cool.
Yeah. Sweet. All right, Tom, let's go to you for your final pick of the night.
Picks.
Plurals.
Plurals. Okay. This journey started with like, wow, I've had this for a while. I should probably watch it. You guys may have remembered that Vinegar Syndrome released the Amityville Horror in 4K a while back. Yes. So here we got a very nice scan of the original camera negative. Looks amazing. All the classic special features carried over that I know of. I think it might even have a few new things on it. Either way, it's amazing. In fact, kicks the shit out of and has all of the same special features and more, as far as I can tell, or at least all of the ones that this Shout Factory release here has. And this scan isn't the worst. So if you have this version, it's not bad. But this does above and beyond. And what they do have here also is the original Matrix stereo mix that for some reason they didn't have for this. They put a mono mix on here, which the movie's never been in mono to my knowledge. Because it was originally in stereo, and then they did a 5.1 mix for one of the special editions over the years. And that was the main mix for the longest time. But yeah, they've got the original stereo mix on here. Looks great. The movie, it's all right. Is it like movie. It's one of those that's on that level? Look, this movie has spawned 10 actual sequels, and I shit you not, 35 movies with Amityville in the title in some way.
Amityville Karen is one of them.
Wow.
These are over the years. I mean, this is just one of those franchises. But as I did that, I'm like, okay, I've got this trilogy box set. It's called for some reason, even though there's more than a trilogy, obviously. So I watched part 2. Now, ironically, we lost one of the stars of this film recently. Burt Young is also in this film. Not a horrible film, written by Tommy Lee Wallace, but you could clearly tell, and Tommy brings this up in his little interview on it too, and I agree with him wholeheartedly, that the director clearly wanted to make an Exorcist movie and did not want to make an Amityville movie. Yeah. Which is weird because the guy who directed Exorcist 2 did not want to make an Exorcist movie.
I know, it's funny.
Why did you get this guy to direct Exorcist 2 and let what's his face direct this? Because this would have been great as a straightforward telling the true story of what happened prior to the original Amityville Horror as a prequel, right?
Right.
But it becomes this weird fucking Exorcist movie by the end of the movie. Because the first 2/3 are great, pretty good. Actually, even set up some weird kind of stuff that was always kind of rumored about the family and stuff like that, about the brother and sister and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And their whole like relationship and whatnot. But then once you get, and it's a great cast in here too. But then once you get to that third act, and even Tommy says this, like he kept changing the end of the movie and adding shit and sending me notes and stuff that he wanted because he was really obsessed with the exorcism bit. Like it really turns into an Exorcist sequel at the end.
Yeah.
Like it straight up feels more like an Exorcist movie than it does an Amityville movie. So in that respect, can't wholeheartedly recommend it, but it's probably the best of the sequels, I guess. Prequel.
I mean, you get to see Diane Franklin's boobs, so
Great cast, like I said.
yeah, great cast.
Then you got the piece of resistance, Amityville 3D, and this, of course, came out in the height of the
With Lori
3D
Loughlin.
craze with Lori Loughlin, Meg Ryan,
Yep, Meg Ryan.
Tony Roberts, Tess Harper, Candy Clark.
Oh, Candy Clark. I forgot about her.
Who's in what other movie? She's in The Blob. Yeah, I was gonna say another movie I talked about tonight, and I made the joke in the beginning of the show because of that, because she's in 2 movies I reviewed tonight. This is not that horrible, actually.
It has moments, yeah.
It has its pretty good moments, and the 3D is not the worst 3D presentation in the world.
Better than Jaws 3D. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
I have a special place in my heart for Jaws 3, but even that being said, no, this is once you start hitting the lower end of the 3D.
Okay.
This is kind of like, okay, you've got Friday the 13th, Jaws 3D, this, then all the other 3D crap otherwise.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, the story isn't all that horrible. It's actually kind of more in line with the first movie. It's this guy buys the house, knowing full well what it's about. The beginning of the movie, he busts this family that was renting the house, trying to he's part of this crew that's like they must run like a hard copy kind of show. Of course, that's probably too old for you to know, Rook.
Which show?
What's the equivalent nowadays? Like a news expose show where they go out and expose.
Is Inside Edition
still old? I don't know. It's probably too old. I don't even know what the equivalent would be nowadays. Somebody help me out in the chat. But like, okay, so he has like this investigative show where they like expose like scams and all that business. So they expose these guys for scamming people at the Amityville house, making them think that, you know, they're a medium and the house is still haunted and they can talk to the spirits and all that kind of stuff. But then he finds out when he's talking to the landlord that, you know, the house is for sale and very affordable, of course, because of all the shit that's going on there. So he's like, fuck it, I'm getting a divorce. I'm going to buy the house. And he buys the house. And, you know, he actually kind of gives the good skeptic argument to the whole idea of, look, things happen there because people expect them to happen there. Like, no more is happening at this house than happens anywhere else. But just because it's the Amityville house, if something were to happen, people automatically associate it with the fact that it's haunted, it's a house. Which kind of stands up at first. And then as the movie goes along, though, it's pretty clear that's not the point. And there's this big kind of thing that happens near the end that really kind of sets everything up for the climax. And the climax is pretty good. Like, it's not a horrible movie. Is it a great movie? No. But it's not bad, right? It's watchable. It's like you said, it's got some moments. It's got some pretty cool creature effects, and some of the 3D effects are kind of neat.
Yeah.
It's got some gimmicky shit coming out at the screen.
Yeah, I like the little stuff when you like the portal in the basement thing. I like that.
Yeah, there's some neat stuff there with the whole bit, and the ending is kind of real trippy, you know, and stuff. And like the whole thing with Lori Loughlin's pretty tripped out, like with the mom, like, you know, and she sees her after she's dead and all that business. Like, yeah, it's not to spoil too much, but like it's a 40-year-old movie. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But no, it's not horrible.
Spoiler, they all die. No.
And honestly, I don't remember any of them after this. I'm sure I've seen a few of them after this, but I don't remember them. I think I watched them through like 5 on video when I was younger.
I think those are like the first 3 are the only ones I ever really remember. Honestly, and then like they've become such a thing where it's like, let's make a new independent horror film. We'll call it Amityville something. So yeah.
Well, and the 4th one's based on 4th and 5th one are based on a book by the original author, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Because that's the thing is, it doesn't matter. I mean, I look at it this way. Okay, let's go hit the big fucking question. Do I believe this shit? Fuck no. They made it all up. It's been proven several times over. Even the original guy who committed the original crimes just admitted that he was just fucked up on too many fucking drugs.
Yeah.
And he tried to blame everything and everybody else. Was there probably an abusive situation there? Potentially. But that doesn't excuse what he did, especially to the innocent family members.
Yeah.
I'm more apt to believe the dude was fucked up on some crazy trip and fucking just went mad.
Took some bad shit, and yeah.
Exactly. Took some bad shit and just had a bad night.
Yep.
As far as what happened to the I just forgot their name, the family and the
Oh yeah.
Lutzes.
What was it? Yeah,
As far as what happened to the Lutzes,
yeah.
I don't believe a single fucking thing they say.
Yeah.
And the one boy and the mother have all kind of debunked the husband's story anyway. So in that respect, I don't believe any of it. But as a piece of fiction, it's fine. It's actually one of the better haunted house story movies. It really does a good job of building up the suspense. The original film is very watchable, extremely watchable. Lalo Schifrin's soundtrack is fucking superb. Rod Steiger as the priest who knows there's something wrong with his house and he's desperately trying to fucking fix it but can't, and you know, all that kind of shit. And just the way that the cast does, I mean, the cast's amazing. I mean, you've got Margot Kidder, who got her big ass payday after Superman for this movie. In fact, I think she made more than this. Again, going back to, I'd have to double check this, but I'm thinking it's true from what I remember. Going back to the whole, men always make more. No, I think Margot Kidder got more than, I think she got double or 3 times what James Brolin made in this movie.
I would believe that.
I think she got paid like $1 million or something like that for this, or 1.5 million, because she's hot off of Superman.
Yeah, I was gonna say I watched that movie because of Margot, not because of Josh Brolin. So.
And James Brolin is dad, but yeah,
or Josh
and
Brolin.
James Brolin was a star, but he wasn't like $1 million star. I'm sure he made like $750,000 is what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I'd have to double check and look it up, but yeah. But as far as the presentation, again, Shout Factory, if you can redo Amityville 3D and realign the 3D, that'd be a little bit nicer because it wobbles a lot. You need, and it's not their fault. At this time, I don't know if there was the same technology there is now that we have to stabilize film better.
Right.
Because that's the only thing that makes it. It goes off of, there's a lot of times where it'll go out of alignment. Because otherwise, it's not one of the worst 3D presentations in the world. It's just sometimes some scenes, especially when they're, it just, you can tell because you can see it if you close one eye and you can see the one like wobbling a little bit compared to the other one. So you got a little bit of stabilization problem there, which is a problem on older scans before they've had better technology to fix that.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a quick rehash of it and redo it again. That'd be one I'd rebuy. If you do a 4K scan of the second one, I'd definitely buy that one again. But the rest of the movies I could give a shit about.
Yeah.
But then there was the old remake.
From the 2000s.
From the people who fucked up the Chainsaw Massacre, Jason and Freddy comes the Amityville Horror. Actually, they did this in 2005, I think it was. 4, maybe even sooner than that. 2005, yeah. This movie sucks.
It's not that great, is it?
Fuck no. Even Ryan Reynolds can't save this bitch. And he's probably the best part of the whole movie. In fact, I like here's my point. His transition to the dark side is more believable than Brolin's. I'm not saying it's a better performance per se or a better movie in any way. But the thing is the way Ryan Reynolds starts out as Ryan Reynolds in the movie, and then he transcends into that darkness, is a lot more scarier than Brolin, because Brolin is like a little less and more subtle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You've seen this, right?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Fuck this movie. Anyway. The ending is so fucking stupid, and the stupid shit's gonna change for no good fucking reason. Look, again, I know it's not technically based on a true, unquote, true story, but stick to the fucking story if you're gonna do it. And in fact, there's no real reason to remake this movie. There never was.
They've made it
of its era. Well, not only that, just beyond that, like there's nothing wrong with the original that I think you could do any better.
Right. Well, there's always those people out there like, well, you know what really needs to be remade? This movie that everybody really loves.
There's not enough talk about gender identity in that one.
And I don't even remember what it did at the box office, to be honest with you.
I don't remember either. I don't think it was very good. But we do have a $5 super chat from Justin Proper, who says there's only one Amityville horror movie I genuinely like, and that's Jaws.
Yeah.
You know, Amityville means friendship.
just Just for that, you get Joe Dante.
Somebody said, well, it's because kids won't watch black and white. And you know what I say? Fuck them. They can't watch black and white.
You just gotta have that with me, but fuck them. Rook will watch this, you know.
But
this one did just about as well as it did. Actually, didn't do nearly as well as the Freddy. Well, more in line with Jason, not so much as Freddy. Did 108 worldwide, 65 domestically, 42 outside the U.S. So it did okay. Had a decent opening weekend with 23 million back in 2005. So that'd be like 40 million now, probably.
It was probably Ryan Reynolds. Why that truly, honestly,
clearly,
why that succeeded. Yeah.
Well, and that was kind of at an era where whatever, but again, this is one of those remakes where I'm just like, why? Especially if you're not going to change anything in it that makes sense. Like the stuff they change is story. It still technically takes place in the 70s and all that business, but it's it doesn't feel like it. Like it feels way too modern.
It's still, and the babysitter's hot, so
oh, and that was one of the worst character changes.
Right. But
and I don't know how they managed to add more character stuff, even though it doesn't really work for the movie, and managed to make the movie over 30 minutes less than the original. I don't understand that either. Yeah, or almost 30 minutes less than the original. Because it's not even 90 minutes. I mean, that's the only thing I guess I can say that's good about the movie is it's a slim 90 minutes. So I don't know if they edited a bunch out or what, but like there's so much added stuff to it that's stupid that it's just like, I don't know, whatever. Fuck that movie.
Why can't the babysitter be hot?
The version that's in the original one makes more sense. The one that's in this one was kind of just there for, I don't know. It felt too modern.
I feel you. All right. But like great picks tonight, everybody, though, for real. Like I think this is the longest we've got. I mean, gone in quite some time, over 3.5 hours, but
yeah,
great.
So what happens when Tom watches 11 fucking movies?
I could believe it. Like Rook came on, I was like, me and Tom usually just like 3 movies a piece usually, and then here's Tom like, I watched 11 movies. I'm like, holy shit! I think that's the most Tom has ever watched on the show ever.
I was like, I have 6. Is that going to be too much? And you pound it, you slam down 11. You see my 6 and double it. I'm like, oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. But thank you, Rook. Thank you, Tom, once again. I hope we have more movie watching ahead of us. I hope everybody in the chat and everybody watching enjoyed this show. This was our Halloween episode because next week it will be the Halloween Hangover on November 1st. So thank you all for watching. I got to find my little clip here to get started real quick. Where's it at? I always lose it. There it is. All right. As always, thank you once again for watching. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
How you doing? Bitches leave.